think what I've heard about him, I'm optimistic. He wants to play in summer league. He wants to play every single game. And when he says it, I actually believe it because you listen to how this kid talks, and it's almost a cliche already within a month. He talks on a different level than most 19-year-olds. I mean, in 27, he talks better than I do. So I'm not worried about it. I think if there was a team that was trying to manage Wemby in his body, it's San Antonio. I do think he's probably going to sit more games than he's probably comfortable with. But then the Spurs also, as a nice power move, hired the kind of guy that he wants to help manage him, the guy that's been taking care of him, right? They hired him as like one of the staff. So he liked this guy to help manage his body, and they hired him. I love that move. I would like better front court depth. That's why I like Brook. I like Brook as that defensive anchor. Like, you know what, Wemby? You can freelance. Like, I mean, even Giannis won a Defensive Player of the Year, freelancing and not really guarding the best player every night. Like, I think Wemby plays that defensive role perfectly, and I think Brook can help him the same way he helped Giannis, and also would help him in his body long-term health-wise too.
So then that's the thing. Like, so do we expect? I mean, I'm honestly, to be honest, I don't even know if that's true. Do we expect a jump in the front court additions? For example, like let's say it's gonna be Barlow, right? It's gonna be Barlow. It's gonna be Wemby. It's gonna be Sohan. I mean, are we more expecting the jump to come from the front court or the guard position? Because the guard position, I feel like that's what they're asking for. Whether it's Trey, whether it's Malachi, like, is that really what we're hoping for, or is it more like, you know what? Let's have these wings, these decisive wings that could make the difference. Let's let them do the deal. Or is it more, you know what, Malachi should make the jump, or Blake should be much better, or we gotta sign somebody, or Trey has to be much better from three? I mean, are we?
Oh,
really
Seth Curry to the Mavericks for a return.
Bullshit. Went back.
Seth Curry on a 2-year deal to the Mavericks.
He's old too. He's old like his brother.
How old is he? He's like 29, right? He's like 29.
No, he's in his 30s, right?
He's in his 30s? Yeah, he is. Yeah, you're right. No, it's just son. Masai. Y'all didn't tell me that Dennis Schroeder signed for $26 million with Toronto.
Yeah, that's
a little bit. Jesus, that's
will be 33 by next season. They ain't bad. It's fine. It's some sort of depth, but.
Okay, so actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, now that we're here, so what are we at right now with Champagne just signing, Trey re-signing?
Man, KBD just what a move by the Suns.
What was the City contract? Did the City contract?
We don't know. We still don't know actual details on the City contract just yet.
So we don't know if it's the 12-man or if it's the 2-way.
Yeah,
right?
I have no idea. We have conflicting reports between. Okay. We have conflicting reports
because that matters, right? I mean, obviously,
yeah,
it matters.
No, it matters because the roster spot are a 2-way. It's key. It's pretty key.
And if we're not signing, or if they're not signing him to a 2-way and they're signing him to a guaranteed, then that means that there's no spots left unless you waive Birch.
So hold on, I want to let you guys know. Don't fucking worry about the roster spots. At this point, the amount of roster spots. Don't worry. Don't give a shit. It's because things are going to happen. So it's just don't even fucking worry about it. I
guess that's the question, right? Like I mean, what is going to like who's gone? Who's expendable? Yeah. Is it Cam or is it?
Cam Birch has to be gone, man.
Cam has to be waived.
He'd be like the fourth center today, and I hope he turns out well. But like, he'll never see the floor with Bassie and even Collins out there. Unless I'd rather have Mamu out there than Birch. I don't care about Birch. I mean, I just.
Cam's really not. He's expendable.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think you just cut him and ate the salary.
But I also think, what are we waiting on? Oh no, that makes.
To answer your question though, on like who will show up more, I can tell you who has more to prove. I don't know who will do it, but I think Keldon Johnson. All right, man. Let's see what you got. You don't have the ball in your hands all the time. Are you efficient? Can you be efficient from the arc and around the rim together? at the same time. Because if you can, you might be pretty damn good. And also, can you please not be worse than Bryn Forbes on defense, please? I think Blake Wesley, in a small sense, like, hey man, the guard spot is yours, Wesley. And now I still think he's a year away from being a year away. I think the dude's a project, and he may not even pan out. But Wesley, the spot's open. I know Trey Jones is here back on 2 years. The minutes are yours to take at point guard if you're that good. If you want to take that, it's yours. Malachi Branham, I want him to show that what he was in February can be all year, as like maybe a 6-man role if he wants it. I do think there is this weird, interesting dynamic, and you see me on it on Twitter a lot, between Sohan and Keldon. Who's the better fit with Wemby, and is someone going to get forced out? Where does that work, or can they all work in unison? Because everyone thinks that Sohan can play full time at point guard. Like, I do think there's kind of like that unspoken dynamic that I find very, very interesting. But it feels like right now, San Antonio, they brought back Trey Jones, and they graduated their 2-way contracts to actual rookie deals. Is what it feels like so far.
I don't know. I mean, is this enough? Okay, so is this enough to kind of settle Spurs fandom? I mean, is it enough?
No.
I mean, no, right?
Spurs
I mean, I feel like it's never gonna be enough, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was just curious. I was like, is this enough to kind of settle this Spurs fandom?
No,
I have no idea.
Spurs Twitter's never happy, man. You know how this works. We can get Tim Duncan tomorrow back at 23, 22 years old, and there still be some issues. Like, Spurs Twitter never happy. That's an unspoken rule.
Yeah, it's just funny to me because I think about it. I'm like, you know what? There's a chance here that maybe we can all come together. And like, I know Nick just left, but even like somebody like Nick who's gonna I think about the idea, like the general gist of what's happening, and maybe it's right. Maybe we are right. Maybe we're the ones to try to change the people around us. And no, it's not gonna happen. I know it's not, but I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to deal with that, or no, that people have to deal with that in general. Because think about it. I mean, no, go ahead, Ty. That's yours.
I try my best to educate. I'm sorry, it's just some people just they don't pick up on it.
Look, and you know what the funny part is, like I see Ty tries his best to kind of talk about so and do this and that, and I see Austin who try even on the opposite side. He's like, you know what, we should embrace a possibility that this may happen, and it's a player or somebody that nobody wants to talk about, but the reality is, like, you know what, that's a possibility. And I see both of you trying to kind of, whether it's for the majority or the minority, you guys are trying to bring this in, and it doesn't always work. But the reality is, I mean, I
just try to bring in alternatives that we may not be used to, or just to make us think. Like I don't care about him too much as a player, but like, just as a hypothetical, D'Lo for like a 2-year +1 team option.
Sure.
Like I said, you got to spend the money, and then it's not. Is he a locker room problem? I don't know. I think so, probably. Unfortunately, on paper, does it make sense, especially with how efficient he was, and especially in the second half last year? Yeah, a bit. Like, he's a decent playmaker, really good shooter. He was super efficient last year. Had some trouble in the playoffs, but like, I don't know. I wonder. I don't think that'll happen, but I try to like propose these questions, like, hey, what about this alternative? Or even the Brook Lopez one, where someone would freak out and go, "Oh my God, you're gonna pay old man Brook $20 million for 2 years?" I'm like, yeah, probably. It makes sense. I mean, it's a good fit.
Oh man. So okay, so I feel like I still don't understand. So where are we at right now financially? I mean, where are we at?
We have a ton. We still have a ton of money. We have like over 30 million.
20 million, right?
30 million.
We got like 13 or 15 mil to hit her for, something like that.
Let's go to the spot track.
I love making fun of Houston fans. This Van Fleet contract still got me giggling.
I mean, dude, I don't care what anybody says. There were some contracts that we avoided, and I feel like we're gonna be nasty. And I love Jakob, and I still would have given him 20. I'm not mad for them avoiding that $20 million a year contract. And it was
I don't know what Toronto's doing, man. Like, I think that's
nuts.
Yeah, Toronto pick is going to be between 10 and 15 next year. I think you can book that. Like, I think they're going to run it back.
I got a good question from Richard I'm not even gonna try to say your last name. How do you think we split the front court minutes this season, assuming no major injuries?
I guess currently constructed.
Okay.
Yes.
So is it
currently
Champagne
constructed?
included?
Yes, Champagne included because
okay,
that's an official signing.
That's a good question. Okay, you can go for Austin or Talia. That's because
I'm gonna pull the classic answer your question with a question. Who the hell is starting? Is it Sohan at point or
starting?
So, or hold on. Let's. So how do you want to? Let's look at the players. Let's establish who is on this roster at this moment. Who we got to establish that first. So let me pull the roster up real quick.
Oh, but to be honest with you,
just so I have names in front of me. So you got Zach Collins, Jeremy Sohan, Charles Bassey, and Victor Wembanyama at this moment.
That's who's signed right now. So we're short forwards. I mean, because look, Sohan and Wemby are gonna play the forward position, and then let's assume that Collins and Bassey are gonna play the center position. So we're kind of shorter forward, but we're not talking about just forward 4. We're talking about forward 3.
I'm talking 4. I'm thinking like 4-5. If I'm thinking like I'm thinking backward.
I don't know. I mean, y'all might have a better idea right now. Honestly, now think about it, y'all might have a better idea straight up front than I do, because that is a good question. I have no idea, because it's gonna be Sohan, it's gonna be Wemby playing the 4 initially. How we align them. Sohan might play the 3. We might send Keldon to the bench. That's not something I'm opposed to. I don't think anybody here is opposed to that. But I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe we let it go. Maybe we let it happen, and then on top of that, we sign somebody who wants to play the actual 4. But here's the thing: I did hear that Grant Williams, he hasn't been signed, right? Am I wrong?
Nope. Grant Williams is still a free agent.
I've heard that Grant Williams was going to wait, and I feel like a lot of people, probably other people, have heard that too. That he's going to wait to kind of to feel the landscape out, kind of get signed afterward, because he's not opposed to signing for a minimum deal because he wants to get a bigger deal later. So maybe he comes on for 2 years. I don't know. But my thing is, he would have to understand he's coming off the bench because he's not starting. So I guess I don't know. Do y'all see the legitimate lineup? Whether it's Trey, Devin, Sohan, Vic, Collins. I mean, do y'all see it that way, or do you see it a different way? How do y'all see the starting lineup aligning itself? I mean, that's really up to y'all.
So,
not up to us,
all right, so this is my starting. My starting 5 is the following, just with current players that we know.
Yeah.
Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Victor Wembanyama, Zach Collins.
That's what I would do.
But then that's the thing.
It's not. You can't get any easier than that, honestly. In terms of, you need to have a point guard out there. We're not fucking running the Jeremy Sohan point guard fucking theory. That's just not happening. He's a secondary ball handler. He's not your primary ball handler. He's your secondary.
He's Draymond Green in a sense, and Draymond Green deferred to Curry. Like, that's just what it is.
And he could be the better ball handler between the two. He could be the better offensive player. He could be the better playmaker slightly between the two. But it's not so much that he needs to have the ball in his hands for 20 some odd minutes. That's just not what's gonna happen. And also it's just not fair to him to take him from his strengths, which is in the open court, at the 4 position, off the dribble. Like, it's just not. It makes no sense for him to be removed from the best spot of his life right now, which is. And by the way, it hasn't even been talked about the fact that now he's gonna get this spacing with Wemby at the 5 or 4. He's gonna have a field day. Sohan is gonna have a field day next year. And it's not because of the fact that he's gonna play the point guard. It's because of the fact he's gonna play the 4 or the 3. He's gonna be able to take off. He's gonna be able to take these guys off the dribble. That's what it's gonna be. But I mean, to each their own. If they feel that it should go a different way, that's fine. But the reality is, Sohan is going to 100% benefit from Wembanyama being at the 4, Collins at the 5, and then Sohan being able to take that secondary guy off of the dribble, and then being able to work in transition, and then getting these guys in position. But I mean, I guess we'll see. Whatever. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So Richard brought up a good question of Keldon versus Sohan is interesting. Offensive versus defense. Tough to not play Keldon given our lack of shooting at other spots. I disagree. I know that Trey Jones is not considered a shooter, but Devin Vassell is a shooter. Victor Wembanyama is a shooter. And Zach Collins is a shooter. I think that you have plenty of three-point capable shooters within that five-man roster starting lineup. No, regardless. And two of them being your tallest guys on the court. I am not worried. And then you have Devin Vassell, who is going to be obviously your second option. People keep wanting to say that it's Keldon Johnson as second option. No, it's Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is the much more versatile scorer and has a lot more capability while on the floor in general. So I think it's a no-brainer to go with the guy that can defend the number one offensive player every fucking night in Jeremy Sohan. It's just, and especially if you're a defensive-minded team, like Pop is, it's a no-brainer. You go with the better defender. Am I wrong?
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, honestly, Austin can go more into detail about that. What do you feel, Austin? Honestly, like, what does the rotation look like? What are we feeling?
To Ty's point, I mean, Devin Vassell before his knee injury, the first 20 games was like 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, something like that, on 46, 40, and 82 splits. That was before his knee took him out. Like, he was showing those signs. Right. I also think that you can start Sohan, but I would say even if Keldon's the backup, he might get more of the small forward minutes. And what I mean by that is, like, Sohan may start at the 3, but then play 20 minutes at the backup 4 with the bench, because it's not hockey rotations where they play all the minutes together. You can do that, and to where Keldon still might get 28 minutes off the bench. I don't know. He could be that little spark plug, but I do think because of a lack of 4, you don't really have a backup 4 to Wemby right now. I do think you can start Sohan at 20 minutes of the 3 and 20 minutes of the 4, and maybe or whatever that comes out to. You kind of gauge it from there. In terms of who you fit, I've been saying this for a while. It is not about these individual players. It's about who fits better with Wemby. I love Devin. I love Sohan. I still like Keldon. They do not matter in the shadow of Wembanyama. It's about who's best with him. And in my opinion, those first two guys are Sohan and Vassell. It's about him. It's about Wemby.
Yeah, and Wemby is excited to play with Jeremy.
Yeah, the players that our favorite players of yesteryear mean nothing to Victor. Like, he is the guy, and you just build around him what's better. And what I don't know about Wemby is, will he start at the 4 like LaMarcus did and end up at center after a few years? I don't know. I think it's possible. Right now, I can only go by what him and his camp say. And him and his camp say that they want to play the 4 next to a 5, and I'm totally cool with that. If Wemby also wants to do my taxes, I let that boy do my taxes. I don't care. So it's about what fits with him.
So Richard, I do have a counter argument. I do have a counter argument to that point. He said Richard said agreed 100% on Vassell. I am lower on Wemby being a plus shooter at the 4. He shot 29% last year. So I want to give you a comparison to why Euroball is very much different compared to the NBA. We talked about this earlier. Again, this is part 2 of the stream. We crashed, so we had to come back. But in the NBA compared to EuroLeague rules, there's much more spacing. Also add on that Victor Wembanyama is going to be with much better players that are going to be able to create much more effective spacing, that defenses will still have to respect them regardless of how important Victor is. In EuroLeague, they were able to get away with that, able to double team him because his teammates are not great. They're EuroLeague guys. We're now talking about NBA level players that is going to be next to Vic with spacing capabilities. Also, it's just much easier to score in the NBA compared to EuroLeague rules. So, Luka Doncic has talked about it multiple times, how it's much easier to score in the NBA than it ever was in EuroLeague. So, with those factors, also add on that this boy has a beautiful shot, and he was just kind of taking dumb shots too, because defenses were just clamoring him, and he was taking one-legged shots. With him being much more in a much more disciplined area, which with better players, better spacing rules, I have a lot of confidence in Wembanyama being a capable 3-point shooter.
Well, also, didn't Wemby have like the highest usage rate in his league's history?
Yeah, no, it was nuts. He was getting ran almost to the ground. Like that's
yeah.
The type of...
He was like 07 LeBron on those teams, man.
Oh yeah, and he was getting. By the way, I feel like people don't understand how poorly the league itself is good, but how poorly that the offenses are ran. Like that, and it's not because of them essentially. It's more because of the defenses that are. The rules that allow them to do that, like for example, like Wemby probably could have taken like 60% of the usage rate. Honestly, like I'm not joking. Could have taken that high of a usage rate, and it wouldn't have mattered because he was gonna run into the 3-2 defense. He was gonna run into the 3-2 zone, and he was gonna run into a blockade of no shooters, and that was on offense. And then so it wouldn't have mattered. It's just so funny to me how people say like, well, he shot this. Or, well, he did that. Well, yeah, man, because he was struggling to get shots off in that small offensive environment. Like, and then when he went to go play in the G League, or he went to go play against a G League team with by the way, with the same crew, with the same type of, with the same people around him. He thrived. I mean, he looked like an NBA player, and that's just. I don't know. I mean, maybe am I wrong? Am I wrong for thinking that? I don't think anybody would think or should think anything different. But am I wrong for thinking that? I mean, because when you really look at it, I mean,
I do think like while I agree with Ty that that's sufficient spacing, I think Trey Jones just having a passable standalone 3-pointer makes such a big difference. And I think even though Ty has said the same thing, that is the only difference between him and his brother is his brother can shoot 37% from 3. And yeah, like if he can just get to 35, 36, that changes so much, not only for Trey, but also for the team in general. And I don't know, I think he's more likely than Sohan because Sohan's weird. He had like what was it, January? He had like a month stretch where he shot like almost 40%. It was crazy. And then after his injury, came back and he fell hard from 3. His free throws always maintained, but that 3 ball came back to just really like commented back to reality. But if one of those two, or if just Trey Jones just get that thing passable, that just it fixes everything.
I don't see. I mean, why that can't be a thing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you have a rebuttal for that, Ty, or not.
I have a little bit of confidence in Trey Jones's ability to at least stretch his game out just a little bit. I'm not expecting him to be fucking Patty Mills. I'm not expecting him to take five attempts a game. But if he can honestly make 1 or 2 attempts a game at a decent like 35% clip, that's solid. That's all you need. It's like you don't need much more than that, along with the rest of his skills.
I think that deal he signed was really solid. I mean, I would have actually preferred a 3rd year or 4th year, but I kind of wonder if him and his agent fought for 2 years in case he wants either a change of scenery or more value down the road because the cap is constantly going up. I wouldn't be surprised if he and his agent kind of pushed for like, hey, let's do 2 years. That way the cap, as it increases, a bigger deal can come down the line. His brother is a free agent next year. I think that he's going to get like he's $15 million a year pretty easily, or take a slightly less pay cut for a contender. But that's the only difference between him and his brother. And his brother is like the best backup point guard in the NBA. I mean, the numbers for when Ja was out and his brother Jones was playing, there's a reason they kept their head above water, if not performed better. And I think Jones is a big part of that.
Hold on. Derrick Rose intends to sign a multi-year deal with Memphis.
That's interesting. Is he from
like
Memphis? Is he from Memphis? No, he's from Chicago.
He's from Chicago.
Yeah, he's from Chicago. That's you know why though? I mean, it makes sense because they're very clearly worried about the fact that not only is Ja gonna get, he's suspended for 2 games. I feel personally, that's why they point guard did they just recently signed too, or they retained.
Oh fuck, what's his name?
It's gonna piss me off. They just retained essentially like 2 point guards, 2 to 3 point guards. The reason being is because I feel personally, I don't want to be that guy they're not certain that Ja is going to be able to uphold terms of of what's happening. That's just my personal expectation. That sounds horrible, but I just think that's what's gonna happen.
Sorry, I just saw an amazing tweet.
What was that?
From @IamJustStar_. Derek White is bald. Jalen Green is dry humping his teammates, and Fred VanVleet just got signed for $43 million a year. What in the bloody hell is happening right now?
I mean, that's. So what did Memphis give Derek, man? I mean, because
Derek was a free agent. Derek, I don't think.
Was it a 5? Is it 5?
Probably not. I mean, Derek's not that good anymore. I mean, he's a.
Oh no, he's not. No, he's not.
So I don't think he probably got much. Here's the thing, and this might not to make this a Memphis area, but here's my theory on Memphis. I really do. I think they went after Smart almost half because of the locker room presence, and that he was a leader in Boston and throughout the whole Kyrie Irving mess. I think he's, as someone put, he's a valedictorian, Dylan Brooks, but also that locker room presence, I think, especially with the whole Ja situation, is exactly what Memphis needs. They need that stable voice. He was Boston's spirit animal. Like, that's who he was. And I think right now in Memphis's current locker room situation, they value that. And so and also he's been a part of teams that were like 4 or 5 conference finals, been to NBA finals. He's got a lot of experience at a youngish age that Memphis probably values too. So like when they're in a mess, they can turn to that guy to help pull the team together. And that's just my kind of psychological looking into it. I think maybe Derrick Rose is also kind of a signing for that, just for veteran leadership for a team that needs it, while also maybe filling in that third string point guard spot.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna mute us, guys. I just want to have a quick private conversation real quick. So everyone, listen to music for the next 30 seconds. Hold on.
Only because I
All right, we have a special announcement. We are going to we're gonna keep the stream going, and then, but we're gonna do something fun, something that I'm gonna experiment with. We're also gonna run a Twitter Spaces just to get more exposure and try to direct people to the stream itself. Any updates on the Wizards except Kuzma? No, I have not seen anything else. So, all right, Joncho, do you want to run that Twitter space or do you want me?
Yeah, I'll start it. Let me go and do that.
So, again, turn your phone down all the way, so you don't hear each other. But sorry, we're kind of directing them while also doing a stream, because this is how professional I am apparently. Shams now getting to the Derrick Rose news. I would like to know how many years. Seth Curry on a is that 4-year? I don't know what the fuck that is. That was not a number that was given. Herb Jones making 12, 12.9, 13.9, and then 14.8 million for the next 4 years.
Wait, who?
Herb Jones.
Man, that's such a good deal, man. 54 over 4 years is phenomenal. What a steal.
Yeah, no, it's solid.
Yeah. By the way, while I'm doing this, what was that? I feel like they could offer. Somebody could offer them more, right? But I feel like that was what he wanted to take. I mean, he would have been willing to accept that amount of money.
I would have paid him more.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I wasn't sure what the deal was, because I feel like he could have taken more, or he probably could have been offered more, but he just was willing to kind of come back to Orleans. I mean, and they gave him that. I don't know if that was the max, right, for New Orleans. That's essentially what they could have given him.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that's their MLE.
So
Gary Trent Jr. and the Raptors working on a lucrative extension.
Yeah, he opted into his player option, I think, and now they're working on an extension.
Derrick Rose is a 2-year deal with the Grizzlies. No money, I'm told. I'm assuming minimum.
Yeah, probably not that much.
Richard says one of the backup guards from the Wizards might either Wright or Morris might be interesting for the Spurs. What do you guys think?
Monte Morris, you said?
I think it is Monte Morris.
Okay, Monte Morris, I was conflicted. He was really good in Denver, and then kind of went to no man's land in Washington, which players tend to do. So I like the idea. I don't know what assets you're willing to give in a trade, because right now Washington is in sell. So whether it's selling Tyrus Jones or Monte Morris, I think they're going to be looking for picks. So the Spurs do have like 50 second-round picks. Are you willing to give a pair for Monte Morris?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
All right, we're getting this Twitter space set up. We're not going to take anyone on stage. We're just kind of using this as another platform, pretty much.
Love that Twitter space background music they play until someone else joins. It's fantastic.
All right, I did send the request if you want to bring me up on stage.
And Ty, if I have any like audio issues, just let me know.
All right, I don't know. I'm not going to monitor the Twitter space if you want to monitor that.
Sure thing.
So yeah, everyone, this is how you do stuff. How you multitask.
I just say that I'm proud that Joncho got a job here with Air Alamo while still having the Twitter handle Mr. Ass. That's a hell of an accomplishment. I don't think Woj can pull that off. That's all I'm saying. I don't think so.
Well, Joncho over here, if you're not following Joncho Villa, you are missing out on like some amazing Spurs, like in-depth Spurs analysis. Like there's a reason I have him up on the stream, because this man knows what the fuck he's talking about, and he's a smart basketball mind. Give him a follow. Give Austin DeBose a follow too. Oh, here we go. There we are. All right, I'm on stage now, I think. Here we are. All right, let me put the earbud on. Activate the earbud for that real quick. All right, there we go. I think we have a simultaneous thing going on. Can you guys hear me on your Discord?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we're golden. We are golden. We are good. Looks like we have a simultaneous thing going on. I'm proud of us for accomplishing this. Good job, everyone. Good job. All right. Joncho, can you hear me on both ends? Oh, no. Did I lose Joncho?
Yeah, Joncho sounds like he's under a pillow. There you go, buddy.
Well, I can't hear him on Discord now, so I can't hear him on this live stream. Did we mess this up? I think we may have messed this up. Oh, no. All right, bear with us, everyone. All right. All right, Joncho, can you hear me on Discord? Can you talk on Discord? That's a real question. All right, everyone, that's joining the space. We are currently doing a simulcast of. We are on a live stream for At the Line. If you want to check us out, we are currently doing a live stream. I'm holding an earbud as I am talking into my normal microphone. If you want to check this out, we're just doing a simulcast of keeping track of free agency. So we got Twitter space just to get more awareness. We're not going to take anyone on stage, but if you do want to comment in the chat room on our space, either on YouTube or Twitch, I will happily reply and we will answer questions from there. But yeah, I've been streaming for over 4 hours now, and I've been keeping track of everything since. The Spurs have had 2 signings. If we're going to recap everything that's gone on, the Spurs signed Trey Jones to a $20 million 2-year deal for that. So that's $10 million annually. Solid deal for the Spurs. And then they signed Julian Champagnie to a 12-year 4-year deal, which is about $3 million annually. And that's how the Spurs have started off this free agency so far. Austin, what are your thoughts so far with free agency?
Pretty straightforward.
Make sure to unmute yourself on the. There you go.
Pretty straightforward. Basically, what we were told by everyone in the Spurs front office. No big moves. They got Trey on a good deal, and as I said earlier somewhere else, that it feels like they took the 2 ways, graduated them to what's essentially rookie-sized deals, 3-4-year deals, team options, non-guaranteed, but they're at an actual roster spot, kind of like a second rounder or late first rounder would be as well. So it feels like safe moves. There's still a lot of money to be spent. I have to check what Paul Garcia has been saying, but I still think they need to hit like 13 to 15 mil or something like that to hit that salary floor. So they still got to spend money for sure to hit those new CBA rules. But it's about par from the course from what we should have expected at least.
Twitter space, if you can give me a thumbs up if you can hear Austin's audio, or give me a thumbs down if you can't. All right, perfect. I just meant to make sure because I can't hear it on my end on my earbud. All right, Juancho, what do you got for us? Because I can't hear Juancho, so I'm not sure if he's talking or not. Is Juancho or Austin? Is Juancho talking on this on the Twitter space?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I can't hear him on Discord, so that's a big issue, and I can't hear him in general.
Everyone's throwing thumbs up. I can hear him too. At first, I could his audio is muffled, but I can hear him now.
All right, I'm gonna leave the space and come back in.
Did you hear me?
I couldn't hear you in general. I think I was having an issue on my end, so I'm fixing that right now. All right, so we can't hear Juancho on the stream, so we're having issues here, but we're trying. Is this a first a Twitter space and live stream simultaneously?
I'm pretty sure it has to be.
I need Juancho. I guess is he on his phone and he thinks he can dual cast? I need him on because like I'm on my computer and my phone. I'm really working. Your microphone's sounding a bit cut off. Disconnect and rejoin real quick. Just that Discord call.
From Discord?
Yeah, just disconnect and reconnect.
All right, there we go.
I know Rodriguez giving me a thumbs down. I know. We're struggling. It's a struggle fest. We're trying something out. Let's try. All right, how about now? Talk real quick. How long until he notices that I'm not on stage for Twitter space yet? Austin, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you, but
there we go. I'm trying so hard, guys. I'm so sorry. Look, there's no updates. Don't worry. Don't tune away. There's no updates anyway. Gary Trent Jr. just working on a multi-year deal. You're not missing anything. Don't worry.
It's a bad free agency, and it's late. You're not going to get much more news.
Yeah, we're trying to give you excitement, guys. What's going on? Poor Joncho still does not know that I'm not on stage still. And he's saying some good things. It sucks that you guys can't hear it. Poor thing. He's spitting too, right? Am I wrong?
Good.
He's spitting. While we just chill here with our lo-fi music and our vibe lights. And we're just talking. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to send them to the chat. Since we're kind of doing a simulcast, I will happily take questions and everything. And we can answer from there. He's just saying, you know who matters? Victor Wembanyama matters.
I'm getting it.
I wish I could easily get him on. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe I can join... No, you can't do that. You can't join Twitter Spaces from here, especially with the delay. So... should the Spurs still try to go for a point guard? Yes, I would say so. I would say the Spurs should still go for a point guard because they still need a backup at the least. Even if Trey Jones is not your ideal starting point guard, you still need someone to back him up. And I'm not sure how I feel about Blake Wesley at this moment. Maybe Malachi Branham, but I see him more as a 2 than I do a point. So I would still say the Spurs should go for a point guard, no matter what. Anyway, as well as like a forward, a backup 4 or so. Poor Doncho. He's still going. He's spinning. Again, if you want to join the Twitter space, go right ahead. But I try to get something a bit more dynamic here with the live stream. Plus, I get, like, you can see all these tweets.
Doncho, you took the words out of my mouth there. Can y'all hear me? Just making sure y'all can hear me fine. Okay, good deal. I kind of said, I've been saying this, is that our favorite players of yesteryear do not live up to the shadow of Victor. They don't matter anymore. I love Devin. He's probably my second option. I love Sohan. But if one so happens to not fit in a year or two from now, bye. Sorry, I love them. I love those guys. So happy we got them. But it's all about Victor, who fits next to him, who's the best archetype to surround him with. That's all that matters now. And I don't know who might be on the way out, but statistically someone is. It's very unlikely we just keep everybody. I mean, it's just unlikely to happen. But yeah, no surprise this free agency. I do think they could make a move like Indiana did, whether it's like that Bruce Brown deal, we give that to Brook Lopez, something like that. I wouldn't mind that personally because I think the archetype works really well. I do think we need another forward for depth, and I think we should still keep on looking at point guard options. Trey Jones' contract is fine. It's not super long term, which means that he's not locked in to be the point guard of the future. He can be. He's a fill-in for sure, like his brother is in Washington right now. But could they feasibly make a trade and take a gamble on, say, Malcolm Brogdon to see if he's healthy and how he works for 2 years? Sure, why not? I think you can actually get paid to do that with a few cap picks because they're trying to dump him earlier. His physical just didn't work out. So I do think there's some flexibility here. There's some opportunities to be like the Pistons if you want to take a contract like Joe Harris that they just did for 2 second-round picks as compensation. Despite the free agency not being good from the jump because it's not star-studded or anything, there's other opportunities to expand this roster and to go forward into the future.
Okay, we still can't hear. I'll try to get it to him. Again, I need a relay to him that we can't hear him.
I can hear him. Well,
like, no, I can hear him in the space, but we can't hear him on Discord, which defeats the purpose of the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I don't know why they're not signing center, bro. Gavin's right. So, he's talking about the front office now. Spurs have the capability of seeing what happens. There's a lot of freedom. I kind of missed where I was going. I'm just waiting for him to find a stopping point.
Or he's giving a shout to Mike Cordana. I love that dude. When he's on Spaces, he's a lot more rational.
So I just need to relay him to back to Discord. I'm waiting for a stopping point. I'm waiting for a stopping point, man. How much Spurs still spend? They have about 35 million still to spend, so they have a lot of money.
I think it's like 17 hit the cap floor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably like around that, but they still have plenty of it to spend.
Oh yeah. Random, but I think KBD going to the Suns is such a ridiculous steal for them. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Such a steal.
Okay, it's kind of hard trying to split my brain between you two right now.
Yeah, no, same.
I'm too tipsy for this. I've had 3 beers already. This is too much.
Too many O'Douls.
Oh my god. All right, come on, Wancho, come on. I feel like he's wrapping up, but I can't get him there. Okay.
Man.
This is a great duality right now. We're on our own little chat while he's going on the Twitter space.
I love Concho and I also love his ability to ask a question and then to proceed asking that question for the next 5 minutes before he gets an answer. I love that for sure.
All right, here we go. All right. All right, Joncho, I just want to let you know we can't hear you on the Discord call. I can hear you in Twitter space, but I can't hear you on the Discord call. You're spitting, and the live stream is not catching it. I'm very sad. I'm gonna. Yeah, if you could figure out how to get back on the Discord while also on Twitter Space, that'd be great. Also, just FYI, we are simultaneous casting to the best of my abilities. We're also doing our At the Line live stream for free agency on Twitter, on YouTube and Discord, not Discord, YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to see my beautiful face, along with actually interact with us, because like I keep my eye on the chat box. I'm answering questions. So if you guys do want to have some video to go along with it, as well as look at the live updates of different deals that goes on, make sure to join us on the At the Line Pod YouTube channel or on Discord. And just make sure to check out the reply to this Twitter space, or look at my account and you will find a link to the YouTube link. But yeah, no, there's a lot going on that we've been talking about in terms of free agency. So okay, signing in. So for the stream, Joncho's asking me if any deals I don't like from this free agency or the Spurs have done in the past. Okay, so asking me about bad deals this season. There are 3 that come to mind. Fred VanVleet, this is number 1. Extreme overpay at 130 million for 3 years. That's like 43 annually. The next one has to be Jeremy Grant for that 5-year deal. That's way too much for his role and his position. I want to say I say that the Bruce Brown deal is an overpay, but I can't exactly say it's a bad deal. So, but
4 years, 54 million, which is a damn steal.
I don't know how to get Wancho on this. I'm still trying to figure this out. Yeah, it sucks you can't hear Wancho right now. I want him to figure it out. He's spitting good stuff. Well, he's always good stuff. I'll say
this: Herb and Nas are like the biggest steals of free agency. I know people like when Nas got signed, I got tagged by like 10 different people, and y'all know who you are because some of you are here. But like I do think guys like Nas and Herb were just steals. I don't know what's going on in the background or behind closed doors. I gotta think Nas got some sort of guarantee that he's getting more than 18 minutes per game. Whether that comes in the form of Cat being traded, I have no clue. But I just would be stunned if he signed back for 14 mil to play backup. Kyle Anderson plays at the 4. Cat plays at the 4. Gobert plays 30+ minutes at the center. Like, there's no room. He's 23 and he was playing great. His advanced numbers are off the wall. Anytime he played more than 25 minutes, he's a 28 guy, and he was shooting like 40% from 3 in the last 20 games. So he's 23 years old, like I said. So those are the 2 steals with Fred VanVleet being just an insane pay. To take a brief moment here, Houston fans, y'all said y'all didn't need Fred because you got Amen Thompson. What happened? I'll be petty and do that for a second, but yeah, no, it's been weird. Yeah.
I don't think that works. Unfortunate. Oh my god.
I think Bruce for Indiana makes sense. They're looking for a wing. It's a lot of money up front, but this free agency is mediocre. Next free agency isn't any better. And if there's 2 or 3 guys extended, which they could be well before this happens again next year, it's going to be just as bad. So what is that money in the face of 2 bad free agencies where you're probably not going to spend it anyway? Like, is it overpay technically? Yeah. But for one, CBA says you got to spend that money. You got to spend a certain amount of money to hit that floor because it doesn't count as something, as a bonus for your team. If you don't spend it, you have to spend it. So overpay, yes, but if it's a shorter deal, it's fine, which is why I think you can give a similar contract to a Brook Lopez and be fine with it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know how I'm gonna get John.
I'm not sure again, and I'm not sure what like, again, I don't know if any Spurs fans have any quarrels with what they've done so far. Is there, again, I want to ask if there's anybody that y'all think that should be looking at right now, or should they have done more to bring somebody in? I don't know, whether it's an Austin Reeves, maybe because he's still out there right now. Maybe it was a Herb Jones. Maybe it was a Gabe Vincent. I don't know, because Gabe Vincent went for, what was it? How much was that? I have no idea. Trying to look it up right now. Now that
I think like 11 or 12 annually.
It's 12. So yeah. Are you okay with paying? But here's the thing: if you pay Gabe Vincent how much amount of money, are you okay with having 2 6'1" guards? Because that's what it would have been. They had 2 6'1" guards. That's fine. Because a lot of people have suggested the idea of having combo guards, and that's great. I appreciate that. That's probably what they should aim for. But if you have Gabe Vincent or Max Strus isn't really much of a playmaker. He's not an actual point guard. And then if you have Gabe Vincent, he's 6'1", you have the same problem you have with Trey. At least Trey's a table setter. So I don't know what people are kind of expecting or what they were expecting. For example, I have some people coming up right now. They want to them.
So I was gonna say let's not do stage requests since I can't listen to them in Discord. So it's just kind of us. If you do want to join us, let me know in Twitter DMs, and maybe I can get you into the Discord, to our Discord server. Actually, you know, I'm going to tweet out the Discord server, and you can join us from there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna. Yeah. So
regardless.
So I was gonna say. So I know that we were talking about guards, but I think there's still a lot of options at the center and forward position that I think the Spurs might be interested in. If you guys want to talk about that.
Are we okay? So are we okay? We okay with? Essentially, because they let Mamu go, right? So now we have essentially the center position works as Collins, Charles Bassey, Barlow in a pinch, and then really, he's not gonna play much of center. I mean, I doubt he plays more than 50 minutes this year entirely in center. So, are we okay with that, or what do we need to do, or what would you suggest that we do to bring in a center, a vet center, just insurance alone? Are you okay? Are people okay with Bassey? Like, how is the feeling with Bassey? Are we like, you know what, that's a great piece that we want to explore and kind of, you know, see where that goes? Or are you more of the idea like, you know what, we actually need to get a backup center for Zach Collins, even if it's a backup center or a better position? There's not a lot out there. There really isn't. I mean, free agency speaking, there's not a lot of centers that we can kind of like just go be like, hey, can you play for the Spurs for $1 million a year? Not gonna happen.
I think there are some guys out there that you could still get pulled. Mason Plumlee's been a name that's been mentioned all the time.
Yeah, Mason's good.
Mason Plumlee's a guy that I could see the Spurs signing for fairly cheap and still be accepting it of a backup role, like coming off the bench directly behind Zach Collins. I think that's a role that he can play. You saw, and there's plenty of other guys on this little thing. Maybe Kevin Love could come in as a veteran guy for pretty cheap. Do you really want to bring Boban for shits and giggles? Who else is on there? I know Dario Saric is rumored to go to the Warriors, so I don't know where that one's going. And then you got like Montrezl Harrell, Mo Wagner is out there, which I kind of enjoy. I think, and then Mo Bamba is out there as well. I think there's Jackson Hayes if you just want to get some more younger guys. I think there's plenty of names out there.
Go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Austin. I didn't know if there was anybody you thinking of, anybody you kind of had in mind.
Don't want to give a cop-out answer, but to answer your question about Bassey, it's all about who earns it. So, like, I think, and I truly hope San Antonio goes into this training camp and offseason and goes, you know what? You want your PT? Come get it. You want that starting spot or premium backup role? Come get it. But I've mentioned Blake Wesley. Like, hey, Blake Wesley, Trey's back, but it's only for 2 years. Do you want more minutes? Come get it. That's why I do think they signed all these two-way guys and smaller contracts and the more long-term ones. It's going to be about who's going to want this, who's developed the most, and who's going to come get that spot. What happens from that could be surprising. So if it's whether it's Sohan taking the 3 spot and Keldon's more of a 28-minute per game 6-man, I don't know. But I hope that answers to some degree. But in terms of who can take that back up like a forward spot, I mean, if you're going to go, I'd only move Bassey down from a backup spot if you're getting a guy like Brook Lopez on like that Bruce Brown deal, then maybe. But if not, I'd rather just play that with him, see where it goes, because I could not care less about Plumlee. He's fine. It's just I'd rather see what Bassey has, or even like someone else mentioned, like get like Robin Lopez for a tertiary center that could play spot minutes. Although if I ever saw a lineup front court of Wemby and Boban, I think my life, that's almost like winning the championship right there. So I think my life would be complete.
So just a quick relay to like who were you saying? I just lost my goddamn train of thought. What the fuck? Who are you talking about?
He's talking about centers. He's talking about the centers that.
Yeah, no. I know about centers. Why am I lost my? All right, never mind. I lost my train of thought. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I mentioned like Boban.
Who was before Boban? Who did you mention before Boban?
So have we seen what Jackson Hayes? Well, I mean, what's going on with Jackson Hayes? Have we heard about him? What's going on? No, that's a forward. He's more of a forward. He's not a center. But I'm just like people like that could be available. I feel like maybe there's a chance here that if they make a splash play that nobody thinks about. Again, they probably have what right now about $16 million left, more or less, give or take. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I remember what my thought process was. So you were talking about Bassey, Austin. I was just going to say that Bassey's on like a very low risk deal. That's like the next this year it's guaranteed, but the next 2 years of like 2.5 million, they're non-guaranteed years. I'm willing to let him take a prove it type performance, but also I got to think about what's going to start helping this team right away. What's going to be a better solution for this team to start being somewhat competitive with Wemby right away. And Bassey is a good third string option, but there's much more talent that I think I would prefer to go with in order to maximize the efforts of this team, as well as knowing that you still got to spend money anyway. Also, Derrick Rose is a $6.5 million 2-year deal with the Grizzlies.
I will say, in terms of Bassey, it really depends on what you see about him. Because like the last 10 games of this season, in 17 minutes, he gave you 8.6 rebounds, 2 assists, and over a block, and that's within 16, 17 minutes. So it really depends on what you think he has in the tank. I know when he first came onto the scene, I had flashbacks of Hassan Whiteside because he put up stupid numbers like immediately on not great.
By the way, those Hassan, like those first 2 years or those little couple years were nuts. Like he was putting up like
it feels
I'm talking like 10, 10, and like 5, like type of number.
Yeah.
Like it was nuts.
It felt like a damn fever dream, and I thought I saw signs of like that. And then Bassey's like first 2 weeks or whatever with the Spurs. So if they decide to go with more of a vet, over Bassey. It's fine. I would be curious what he could do, but also, like I've said before, when you got Wimby and Collins, I mean, Collins is going to be his first full year as a starter, getting minutes. Does his body hold up? I hope so. I don't know. It's been almost half a decade since we've seen that. Wimby, even though he wants to play every game, will he? Probably not. You're probably going to manage him too. Or even if he's playing every game, there might be some games where they just trot him out for 20 minutes. I don't know. I do think they are going to play it safe with him to an extent. So regardless of who's exactly in the rotation, I think there's plenty of opportunities for guys to seize minutes, to show up on the big stage. And that's why I also think you can bring a Brook or another center and not worry about Zach Collins, for example, losing a ton of minutes because of all that flexibility. Zach came in as a power forward. He can shoot. He's refined that, so he can definitely play a spot 5 or 10 minutes at power forward, and it's fine. He can still retain some of those minutes per game. So I do think there's a lot of flexibility there, whether it's maintaining health or just putting guys in various positions.
All right, yeah, just a reminder that we are simulcasting this onto our At The Line podcast live stream on YouTube and Twitch, as well as on Twitter Space if you're on the live stream. So, but if you want to see some video and kind of keep track and also participate into the chat with our text chat, please go and check out the live stream. That's at The Line Podcast on YouTube or Twitch, and you can find it as well on my Twitter, or at The Line Pod on Twitter as well. Joncho, also, by the way, great idea for doing this. I'm glad that we actually got this. We got the technology to work out.
My thing is the people on the floor, the people, everybody in here, they know more. They have all the ideas. They have all the intel. I mean, I'm not here to deny that. The funny part is, I just think, like, I really do think I understand where they're coming from. I feel like most of these people in here wanted more to happen. I feel like most people wanted something, whether it was a random ridiculous offer sheet to get thrown out. I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand what wanted to be done, but the thing is, it was not ever gonna manifest itself. The reason being is because that's just not what they wanted to do. That's not what was gonna happen, and I know it sucks. Again, I keep repeating this, but it fucking sucks. It is what it is, and I just hope y'all understand. It's a slow process. Again, if y'all have any ideas, like, I mean, like, what if we did throw out a 4-year, $100 million offer to Austin Reeves? Do we really think that would have made much of a difference? Austin, do you think that would have made much of a difference? I mean, what are we doing? Is that gonna thrust us into 45-win arena? Maybe. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I really don't think so. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then, by the way, you get a guy like Austin, you get a guy like Herb Jones. Who are you removing from that starting lineup? And I know we've had this conversation behind closed doors, Austin. Like, who are we taking away from that starting lineup? If you get a Herb Jones or an Austin Reeves or a so-and-so, you have to remove somebody from this starting lineup because you're paying them that type of money. And then if you're paying them that money, you have to take somebody away. And that's unfortunate, but that's the business. That's the reality of the situation. So who are we removing? Are we removing a Keldon Johnson? Are we removing a Devin Vassell? Or maybe a Jeremy Sohan? Or as you want to see these guys grow? Well, that's fine, but we need to remove somebody, or we need to take somebody away from the equation without hurting any feelings, but you hurt feelings when you do that. So what are we doing? Again, I don't know if anybody had anybody in mind specifically, but somebody is gonna remove somebody from the situation that is the San Antonio Spurs right now. And the San Antonio Spurs are in a rebuilding arena, and they want to keep it that way at least for another year. So if Austin, you had an idea about that? I mean, are we removing a Keldon Johnson? Are we trading a Keldon Johnson? Somebody like that to play a Herb Jones or an Austin Reeves, because they're not just going to sit on the bench. They're going to play for somebody.
Yeah, you're right. They have to make a move. I do think if you are to push in your chips on someone, like, I don't mind Reeves. If the Spurs make that move for him, I'll trust their judgment, see how it plays out. It probably means that Trey Jones doesn't start for sure, and then he's kind of gauge it from there. Because Reeves, he plays well at points, and then an interesting dynamic is how well he played off of AD, especially in the postseason. I think you can run similar schematics for those guys. Not exactly the same. Everyone's gonna say, "Well, he had LeBron." I'm like, yeah, like 40 years old LeBron, which is still a really good player, but it's not doesn't hit the same as like Miami Heat LeBron. It's fine. He had talent. A lot of guys do. Doesn't mean they're not good. I mean, Magic came into this league with Kareem, and then next year James Worthy. It happens. So it doesn't mean he's not good. Not to compare the two, but the point being is like, yeah, if they do make a move like that, it's probably because they already have that plan in mind. Whether it's to make Keldon Johnson a 28-minute per game guy, spark plug off the bench, or they have future plans to move him. I doubt that happens because they've said they don't want to do that. But I do think if there's a guy or players you do want to go in, like all in for to make a crazy move, he's not available. But it'd be like a Darius Garland tier level guy to where he's somewhere around the same age, really talented, fits a positional need, and sort of like OKC. For one, it's doubtful you can keep everybody, and two, you certainly can't keep all the draft picks because Charlotte might make the postseason this year. If they do, that pick converts. I know the Raptors just brought back Jakob Poeltl for a big contract. I don't think they'll have a great playoff push. They might just also be in that 7th to 9th seed. Their pick can go anywhere from 10 to 15. Point being is there isn't a very, you're going to have to consolidate some talent picks at some point, whether it's now, deadline, or next year. It's going to happen. It's just they may want to see who they have beforehand before making those calls. Insane.
And I do agree with the train of thought that I'm not expecting a huge turnaround from the Spurs team. Now I'm gonna go off history and just say that whenever the Spurs got a number 1 pick, they just had a huge turnaround, and maybe Wemby is just that great that they will actually turn it around for some random reason. But I don't think that there is a one answer fits all free agent that's gonna instantly lift this team. I do think there are some good pieces that can be added that would make things really fun, and like Austin Reeves is one of them if the Lakers don't match. But maybe a Grant Williams out there because he's still on the board, and Spurs have money to spend. So I think there's some pieces that can help your team out, but it's not like you're getting a second star out in free agency or anything like that. Oh no. Oh no, did I lose Wanchon's live stream? Oh no. Okay. I tried so hard. It's going so well. We were doing so well. We were doing so well. And I've lost it once again. Arrgh. So much. Okay. I'll have to tell him that we lost him again on Discord. Technology is the root of all my problems. It's all of my problems. I gotta deal with problems at work over it. It sucks. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not IT. I'm a broadcast major, but everyone thinks I know how to fix the printer. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the root of all my problems. I'm trying this one-man band type shit on a random computer. Fuck. All right, hold on. All right, so he's asking like if there's anyone that Spurs could go after, overspend, and that could improve the team. So I have an answer for this, as well as I tell him to fix Discord. Trading, asking a trade or signing. So I tried so hard. I've tried so. Oh no, I lost Austin. Oh no, what am I doing? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. All right. I just left the space. I'm gonna wrap up over here. I'm gonna rejoin over there in a second. But let me go ahead and wrap up over here. to whoever has joined me for the past 5-6 hours now, thank you so much for joining. Again, I'm gonna do some emergency streams once if anything happens in terms of a major signing for the Spurs or anything like that. I will jump on. I will. Oh, is it the description of draft day? Fuck, I thought I updated that. Oh well. Man. Yeah, all right. You know what? I'll still take questions. I'll still take questions over here as my wrap up. If you have any questions, please send them to the chat. I'm gonna wrap up over here. I'm not on space anymore, so let me go. I'm gonna join this chat real quick. So, yeah, no. If you guys have any questions, I will be happy to answer them real quick. Give you guys a quick follow up on a lot of stuff that we've done. First, Brendan, you ask, you think the Spurs are more likely focusing on FAs from other teams or facilitating trades? Ooh, that's a good question. I think they certainly are trying to help facilitate a trade with the Miami Heat, as reported by Jake Fisher. Let me go back to that tweet real quick. Where was that? That was a while ago. In the developing 3-team sign-in trade that talks it could be bringing Max Struss to Cleveland. The Cavs have been trying to find a trade for C.D. Osman this week, so I'm assuming the Spurs are going to get C.D. Osman, and they might be focusing on that right now, but I know that front offices can multitask. They're probably trying to talk with agents and negotiate stuff and try to figure out who's actually interested in the Spurs. So I think two things are going on at the same time, so we'll figure out what's going on, but free offices know what they're doing. Also, assistant GMs also are there. Have you ever seen Moneyball? You saw Jonah Hill take a phone call for a trade? Yeah, it happens. So everyone's doing their job. They're focusing. I think they're focusing just like any other front office. They're focusing on a lot of different things. Ty Talk Sports. What do you think the most realistic deal for Reeves is? I'm happy with anything around 4 years, 75-85 million. Let me educate myself on how much that is. I think it's much more than that, honestly. Because that's a deal that the Lakers can easily match. You're not going to be able to get Reeves on a deal like that. You will overpay. That's why I think Austin Reeves is most likely sticking with LA. But it would be interesting to see how big a deal has to be for the Lakers to say, do I really want to match that? Again, it's going to be an overpay, but he's talented. And he showed some impressive stuff in his second year. So, do I personally want the Spurs to go after him? I don't know. I think he'd be a perfect guard that you can start and have Trey Jones come off the bench, and maybe you can have him run your point. I think he's good in that sense. But I would be certainly worried about overpaying him to the. It's not going to be to the extent of Fred VanVleet with a max contract like that. But it will certainly be high if the Spurs are actually going to get him. What does that deal look like? No clue. I saw reports Lakers were going to go offer 54 for 4. I need my trusty calculator. That's 13.5, because that's around their MLE. But I also saw a deal saying that there was some. I think it was $100. I had to look at it. Exactly, but it would seem like a big money amount. But I guess 25 mil a year for Austin Reeves might not be that bad. I think there will be some people will be asking questions from around the league of why did you just sign a 2-year guy to 25 mil? A guy that was also not the number one guy on his team. So there will be questions, and you have to ask yourself: is a guy that went on 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, half a steal, on 53% shooting, is that worth $25 million a year? You just have to ask yourself that. Granted, he played the shooting guard. I want to see his numbers as the point. No minutes at the point according to the play-by-play on Basketball Reference. So I'm not sure. And it's not like he's dishing out 7 assists like Fred VanVleet was. So I have no idea. I have no idea what amount that a team would be willing to throw at him, let alone what kind of deal that the Lakers are looking to match. I just really don't. Did my music just stop? It did. All right, do I have any more questions? Please send them in the chat. I'm happy to wrap up this stream. I've been going 6 hours now. All right. I think that's going to do it for this part of the stream. We will be back if any significant signings for the Spurs happen, any significant trades. I'm happy to talk with y'all. Maybe do a Twitter space, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I know Austin Reeves say you fool your stats, don't tell the story. Let's look at his playoff stats. Let's actually look at his playoff stats. His playoff stats: 17 points, 4.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, just a little over half a steal on 46% shooting, and 44 from deep. Again, he's a solid player. But, you just have to ask yourself, can he maintain that? Because consistency is a very huge thing that we have very much seen not happen with players in San Antonio. Looking at Lonnie Walker, I'm looking at Keldon Johnson with his shooting. Inconsistency has happened. And you have to ask, can he legit put up that same efficiency, that same energy for a full 82-game season plus a playoff series? So, Noah, you've joined the chat. Welcome.
Dude.
What?
No, I said, what's up, dude?
What's up, dude? Oh, you're like, dude. I just heard dude. Like, wait, what did I do? Did I do something
Sorry,
wrong?
I think my connection was bad. What's up, dude?
What's up? I was about to end the stream, but now I have you on here, so I kind of want to keep talking.
Yeah, no, we can hang out for a little bit. I saw that you were doing the stream. I was out doing a happy hour thing until the last couple of minutes, and I got home and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even notice you had a stream going on. I feel bad for not retweeting it and helping you out, but it looks like you guys had a good stream.
Yeah, it's like I've been going. Now we had to stop the stream because the Streamlabs crashed on me, but yeah, no, we've been keeping track of it. It was kind of chaotic for the first hour a little bit, but things have kind of slowed down. I did tweet something. If you want to retweet it, Noah.
Oh yeah, let me go out there. Wait, is it something you retweeted recently or no?
I just tweeted it.
Oh sweet, let's go.
So I'm just kind of taking some questions from the chat right now. We actually for a good little bit had a successful simulcast between the live stream and a Twitter space.
Oh, let's go.
It worked out until it didn't.
No.
I had Wancho and Austin on, and I had Austin and I, but then for a part of it we couldn't hear John show.
No.
It was so we had it for a good bit. Chat, it was good for a good bit. It was working out, and it couldn't stick though. So I just
they just dip out a minute ago?
No, it was it was like 5 minutes ago that I kind of dipped out. I dipped out of the Twitter space. Just come back here because this is kind of my project right now.
Nice. Yeah, I saw that not a ton of crazy stuff happened for the Spurs, but there was a lot of movement. At least at the beginning of free agency here. Yeah,
let's go ahead and revisit some of these things. I want to get you some of your opinions. But first, what's your opinion on Trey Jones, $20 million for 2 years?
Absolutely love that for the Spurs, and I'm sure you do too, because it just feels like a really fair deal for a guy who can be a spot starter, but also even if the Spurs end up finding someone who can supplant him as a starter, that's really good money for at least in my opinion, and I think you're kind of on the same train here, but an elite backup point guard. So
yes.
Really happy. Also, congrats to Trey Jones for getting married today. What a day for him, getting married and also getting an absolute bag. So I wish that was my day, but what a great day for him.
So it was kind of crazy because I was talking with Drew today because he is also at the wedding. Trey Jones, he decided to have the wedding ceremony start exactly when free agency started.
That's amazing. I love that.
But I guess real quick while I'm talking about Drew Eubanks, he signed with Phoenix on a 2-year deal.
At least I had DM'd you earlier that like Phoenix is going to need that depth because they're just spending so much money between Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and obviously DeAndre Ayton, who like all the reports are saying he's not going to get traded.
Oh, hold on.
And they're going to need depth.
Sorry, Monte Morris going to the Pistons in a trade.
Oh, okay. For what?
I don't know yet. That's just all it's told.
Right, it doesn't. Continue. That's all it says. Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about more
but yeah.
Even know more.
But yeah, no, I think that's a really good move considering they got a lot of really good like depth pieces today. Unfortunately, like the Spurs
KBD.
weren't able to hold. Yeah, they weren't able to hold on to KBD. But like he's getting paid, I think, a really good value for like what he brings to a team as like a really solid reserve, a guy who you wrote about this season for us being kind of like, basically like a Swiss Army knife, like a spot starter, do it all. You know, fits any role, doesn't foul a lot, good defender, can knock down a spot up 3. Like, that's really cool. I think they signed somebody else. You're going to have to remind me who the Suns...
They signed Chimezie Metu as well as another former Spur.
So, basically they're building out like a roster of former Spurs. I think Jock Landale is technically a free agent, but...
So funny enough, the story went right before free agency. His qualifying offer got rescinded. 10 minutes later, Drew Eubanks is getting signed and as the backup big.
That's okay. I think that's kind of funny. Obviously, like I don't think there was like any real beef between them. But do you remember when they had that like minor scuffle? I think that's a little bit funny. It adds to the lore of the like Jock Landale, Drew Eubanks scuffle.
There's going to be a SB Nation beef on Jock Landale versus Drew Eubanks.
I would love to see that. That would be amazing if they did a deep dive on role players. But like all jokes aside, that's really cool for Drew. Really happy for him. And like the Suns are going to need that depth to like compete because like they have like no money to spend. So they're absolutely going to need all those depth pieces to just like show out. And like he had a pretty good season with Portland, even though they didn't make the playoffs.
All right. Julian Champagnie, he's going on a 12-year, $4 million deal. So that's like about $3 million. 4-year deal. That's about $3 million a year. How do you feel about him coming back on as a fully guaranteed deal? Not fully guaranteed, but a full-time deal.
I'm really happy about that. I wrote about him last season at the end of the season saying that he's just a guy who provides you some switchable defense. Like he's not necessarily a lockdown guy, but he's got a lot of versatility. He can shoot the 3 ball and he's got some shot versatility in terms of like he can shoot on the move a little bit. He can shoot off the catch. He can shoot coming off some screens and he's really big. Like I think the Spurs ended up, you can correct me if I'm wrong here because I could be wrong, but I think on their summer league roster, they said he was like 6'9", which is just really like that's great size. Like if you're getting that sort of like two-way versatility for a guy who's basically a 3-and-D guy and is a bigger wing, like that's really good value. And like that's really awesome because I mean everyone knows he got waived by the Sixers, he's picked up by the Spurs on a 2-way, and now he's gonna get a like what did you say, like a 3-year deal? It's like 12 million for
it's 12 million 4-year deal to have like 3 million annually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for catching me on that. But yeah, I think that's really good value for the Spurs. So far, I know there hasn't been any like super big splashes for the Spurs, but it feels like at least and I'd love to get your opinion on this too. But it feels like a good deal. Like it's not a lot of money, and you're getting something useful.
So 6'9", 210 according to the summer league roster. No, it's the Spurs showed that they have some young talent that they like and they want to keep on board for as long as they can. They did this with Bassey during the season on a 4-year deal, $2.5 million a year. And the last 2 years are non-guaranteed. He's now going to enter year 2. Now they're doing the same thing with Julian Champagnie, locking this guy down long-term so they can develop him. And I think he's even productive enough to be as part of the rotation even come injuries, or even earn his way up there. But it's kind of like a rookie contract in a way, in terms of you want to see what this guy does, you want to develop him, but it's also very easy to move him if it doesn't pan out, or you legit need to upgrade your roster in a dramatic way.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% right there with you. I just think the Spurs have done like a pretty good job. I know that maybe some fans were hoping for like a big move right away, like a Grant Williams or an Austin Reeves or even like a Brook Lopez sort of thing. But I think just like kind of taking care of the business in-house first and ensuring you get who you want to bring back, who is already on your roster, who has some experience, familiarity with the system. Like, I know that sometimes we can be labeled as like kind of a little bit of as homers because we like what the Spurs do, but bias aside, because we both love this team, obviously, but bias aside, I think they've done a really good job today. Like, they've taken care of the guys they need to take care of. And man, I know that it's probably unlikely to happen, but I would just really want to see them bring back Sandro Mamukelashvili. Like, he is someone I really, really like. But regardless, he'll get a bag somewhere, or at least a small deal somewhere.
I just have bad news for you, man. I think I've mentioned this in our private DM today, or already today. And for anyone that's missed it, I talked about this at the very beginning of the stream, and I kind of interjected here and there about it. All signs are pointing to Mamu not coming back. The qualifying offer was not extended to make him a restricted free agent. Your center depth is already kind of full, as well as knowing that the Spurs we're already looking for a veteran center. So, and then you just kind of add on that the unofficial, but you still kind of look at it of like, there's not really anything Spurs on his social media anymore besides old photos. So
yeah, and yeah, I totally get that, and I know we had talked about it earlier, but it's like one of those things that I know it's probably not going to happen, and both of us at this point can probably guarantee it's not going to happen. But man, he just really impressed me at the end of the season with his playmaking, and like, was he a defensive liability? Yes, but I think the things he brought to you as like a second string / third string center, kind of had some guard skills at 7 feet tall or 6'11", and I don't know. I hope he finds a home in the NBA where he can actually thrive and show off his skills, because he was a lot of fun. And I know that, 21 season or 22 win season from last year was just brutal for some fans. And I think he kind of helped make things a little bit more fun at the end of the year. So I'll miss him, but at the end of the day, I think he'll be okay. He'll find a home. He's going to be able to showcase his skills somewhere, but man, I wish it was with the Spurs.
All right, I just want to throw this to you real quick. Well, all right, first let's talk about Fred VanVleet. $130 million deal for 3 years. That's like 43 annually. And now I have Rockets Enjoyer on Twitter tweeting $40 million for a top 3 point guard in the league. I don't think we paid a bro enough.
First off, I've seen Rockets Enjoyer a lot on Twitter, and like, I'm not really one to like say a lot of bad things, but like, this is hands down one of the worst accounts on social media. They've wished, injuries upon Wemby. They've attacked Spurs fans. They're consistently unrealistic. VanVleet is not a top 3 point guard, but you're paying him like he is. And I think at the end of the day, like, I'm just really happy that the Rockets decided to go all in on a guy who I think on the surface seems like a star level player, but is probably not worth all that money. Like, you heard me laughing. Like, that's insane. And it feels like a very Rockets move. Like that's what Houston does. And like, I don't have any hate for the city of Houston, but the Rockets, good Lord, I don't know what they're doing.
So the best way to describe the Rocket fan base to me is like, yeah, I don't care for Laker fans. They are very delusional. But the Rockets are the like Laker fans with a whole shit ton of toxicity on top of it.
Yeah, they're definitely a few tiers worse than any Lakers fan is. And like, I don't really interact with Lakers fans or Rockets fans, but what I see, Rockets fans, at least some of the accounts, I'm sure there's some good ones out there, but man, there are some bad takes from some of these accounts, especially Rockets Enjoyer. Like, I don't know what else to say. They are
silent goes. VanVleet isn't even a top 3 point guard in his division.
That might be true. Like, by the time the season's over, that might be true.
Like, I gotta think. Like, so let's look at the West. Let's look at the Southwest Division real quick.
Ja Morant, right?
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, so that's number 2.
I would say Luka is still a point guard.
Yeah, so that's 3.
Who else is in this division? Because I don't fucking know divisions anymore.
I think there's only
Jalen
5?
Green is better than him.
Jalen Green might be. Well, I'll pump the brakes on that a little bit, but I think anybody who watched Fred VanVleet last year saw him kind of take a step back, and I don't know, like I think he may be able to work for the Rockets. Like in theory, they have guys who can get to the rim, collapse a defense, and then you have VanVleet who can run an offense a little bit. Like he doesn't get dribble penetration, and they don't necessarily need that from him, but that much money, Ty, for
Oh no, it's
a lot of money for him.
To me, it's scream. I talked about this a little bit on the space. It's scream desperation in terms of like we got to make a move, we got to do something, and like you have all this cap, so you can easily outbid teams. But is that player legit worth that outbid? Is Fred VanVleet legit worth a max fucking contract for the next 3 years? Like you have to ask yourself.
No.
You have to ask yourself. The most sane people would say no, but since they see all this cap space, they're just going to spend it all on one place, regardless of if. Yeah, he might be the best guard within the draft class, not the draft class, the free agency class, but compare him to the rest of the fucking people around.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of like when you were little and your parents gave you like $1 and you were like, oh my God, holy shit, I have $1. I'm going to buy the first thing I see. That's kind of what it feels like the Rockets just did. They were like, oh my God, we have $1. Let's spend it all on, I mean, not just $1. Obviously they had like millions and millions of dollars. Let's spend it on Fred VanVleet. It's the first thing we saw. Like it feels like a very 6-year-old in a candy shop type move. But neither here nor there. Kind of nice to see the Rockets fumbling the bag maybe here. I don't know. It may be too early to call this a complete fumble, but don't love the move for them. But at the same time, I love it for them because that means they might have mortgaged their future, which I love.
It's the failure of the arch rival with just a toxic fan base is always nice to see. Like, sorry that we don't live rent free in your head. Monte Morris to the Pistons for a second round pick. I guess second round. Spurs have a shit ton of second round picks. They can easily make some of these trades.
Look, all I'm gonna say is, and this is some shameless self promotion here, but I had written something earlier this week about like 2 pros and 2 cons to like trading for Tyus Jones. I don't think they really need to, but if it only cost a second round pick to get Monte Morris from the Wizards, look, I think Tyus and Monte Morris are kind of on the same level in terms of value. Spurs, you have like 1 million second rounders. If that's all it takes and you really want to get a guy who can space the floor a little bit, pull up from 3 a little bit, has a little bit more experience and is a little bit more dynamic, go for it. And you know what? I'm all about the brotherly love in San Antonio. Like that would be really cool. Like I don't think it has to happen. It wouldn't be devastating if it didn't, but hey, like just pick up the phone, maybe see what's there. I wouldn't be bothered by that at all. I wouldn't be upset.
I think it would be a fun point guard rotation, in my opinion.
Absolutely, having both Jones brothers, and honestly, I don't know if like a lot of people know this, but Trey Jones and his brother Tyus Jones, at least around the Duke community, they're known as the Stones brothers because they've just got massive stones because they can handle the pressure and they came up in big moments. Like I'd love to have these Stones brothers in San Antonio. I would buy that shirt.
I think we need some veteran presence. I say we go trade 3 or 4 seconds for the best vet in the league, Udonis Haslem.
He's got to come out of retirement. Bring him out of retirement.
The real veteran that needs to be brought back in is one Boban Marjanovic.
Yo, I wouldn't be upset with that. Is he still with the Rockets?
He's a free agent, unrestricted.
Okay, well, the Spurs need a big body. That guy's huge.
Just imagine 2 7'3" footers next to each other.
That would be pretty. Honestly, that'd be pretty insane. And like, no offense, I love Boban. Like, he is the nicest guy on earth. I actually had a friend who lived in the same apartment complex as him when he was first in San Antonio. And it would just be funny to see the juxtaposition between how smooth Victor is, how much skill Victor has. He can put the ball on the floor, he can shoot. And then you've got this guy who's the same height, about 100 pounds heavier, and like lumbers. And it's like a task to move across the court. Like that would be fantastic to see that next to each other. I would pay to see that.
Joncho, welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, well, he's deafened. You can't hear him. Oh no. John, what is it with Joncho and us not being able to hear him? This has become a new trend, and I don't like this in any form or fashion. No, I think there's some other guy. So talking about like veteran guys, like to be legit serious. What do you think about like a guy like Mason Plumlee coming in, Noah?
I actually wouldn't mind that. I don't think like he doesn't really space the floor. Obviously, he's not a shooter. In fact, he like switched from shooting right-handed to left-handed last year, and it's looked atrocious. But I think Mason Plumlee's a lot more skilled than people give him credit for. He can pass the ball really well.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now. What's going on, man?
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, how y'all doing? I'm sorry. I had to get look. I know Ty was asking me earlier. I'm actually watching Ty right now on the stream, and he's like a good minute behind me. So, but my thing is, I was trying to get everything together. I had the spaces going. I'm done with the spaces. Actually, I'm in the spaces, but I'm talking to y'all because I wanted to speak to y'all. So, and then none of y'all were in here earlier, but I appreciate it. So my question to y'all, now that I'm in here, what's the consensus? I know y'all probably went over it again. What's the consensus right now? 1 to 100, 1 to 10. How are we feeling? What did tonight? How does tonight feel? How's it going? Agency.
I feel like it's a 60 because 50 means like you're completely fine. I think it's a 60 because they get that 60 out of 100, a 6 out of 10. They get that one extra point for not giving Fred VanVleet 44 million or 42 million or whatever. Otherwise, completely fine. Actually, no. We'll go 7 out of 10 because I like Trey Jones. I love Trey Jones. I want to kiss him on the forehead. Mwah! I love Trey Jones.
I was gonna say 7 just because one, the Spurs got their own guys back that I'm pretty sure that they wanted. Trey Jones, for the amount of money that they got him back for, is so huge. Then add in that you get Julian Champagnie for a fucking solid deal for the long run. That says you're doing all the right things, and there are still some significant free agents out there that you have plenty of cap space to put your money on. So at this moment, I'm feeling good. I'm going to also with this. I'll go with 6.5.
That's a good question, right? I mean, I feel like that's a good question. So, how did you feel, or how do you feel? How does everybody feel about that Julian contract? Because I feel like it was 4 for 12 or something like, or
yeah.
No, you had a better.
I mean, is that solid? I mean, do we feel solid about that? Is it more of the idea that, because for example, like they could, I know I was on the timeline mentioning, I felt personally that they weren't trying to give out 4-year contracts. But if you're giving out a 4-year deal for $12 million, at essentially $3 million a year, I feel like that's a lot different. So is that okay? I mean, do we feel fine with that, with a 3-and-D guy who has some upside? He's 21, and they want to stick with a younger generation.
Hell yeah. Crew.
I mean, do we feel good about that? Because they did the same thing with Barlow. They're gonna try to match Barlow, but they're not trying to give these older guys, whether it was the Cam Johnsons of the world. I'm in my Stephen A bag, but Stephen A bag. But there's the Cam Johnsons. They weren't trying to give him, 4 years for $100 million. They were trying to give Julian Champagnie 4 years, $12 million. So are we good with that? Is that like more of a feel good signing, a real actually solid signing over the course of the next 4 years?
Fuck yeah! I mean, look at it like this, right? Or maybe don't look at it like this. It may not matter. But I mean, the last 5 or 6 games of the season, I think he was putting up 20 points per game on really good shooting.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't matter. Those games probably, in all seriousness, didn't matter too much. But it shows that he's worth basically pennies in the NBA on a team that needs literally every ounce of possible potential. So I don't know. I think it's pretty dope. I like it. Ty and I were raving about it. The fact that it's so little money is actually pretty freaking sick too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just curious. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if anybody had any opposite, if anybody felt any differently. I don't know if Noah, you felt
1 out of 10
about that.
1 out of 10 for sure. I'm not a no. I'm just kidding. No,
I was like,
I liked it. No, I really liked it.
him.
Like he was like, you know what? That was the worst signing they made in like the last 3 years.
How could they fumble the bag? How could they give this man $3 million of NBA money?
Nobody's
no,
ever
for real though. I did like it. I like the move a lot. Like I was talking to Ty a little bit before you got on here. Like for a guy who's 6'9", has some defensive versatility, has some shot versatility, you know, can hit those threes coming off screens and transition, spot up off the move a little bit. Like that's a steal. Like he may not have like a ton of upside as far as like self-creation goes or any sort of like playmaking really, but like he's not ever going to be a liability. Like at the bare minimum, he's a guy you can kind of just like plug and play, and because of his size and because of his like fluidity at his size, I think you're getting a really good deal. Like I just don't know how you could look at this as anything but a win, right? Like 4 years, 12 million, that's great money.
Yeah, and I always thought, I feel like we all saw that it was coming up to the two-way contract, which is fine. I mean, it would have made sense, but the thing is, like, it was not going to work in terms of if you're going to get Barlow at 19, that two-way, and then you already have Jabari there, and so and so and so on and so on. Julian feels like your prototypical. If you have to describe a 3-and-D player, he's your 3-and-D player because he's not going to dribble the ball much. He's not going to play make for you, but he's going to defend his ass off, and he has good size, and he's going to shoot the corner three, and he's going to maybe spread out to the wing. And also we heard that he's like I heard it earlier. I'm pretty sure we all heard it earlier that his goal was to work on more dribbling, handling of the ball, and kind of getting into the middle of the floor, which is great. That's awesome. But of course, like if you can get a 3-and-D, it's like getting Bruce Bowen, you know, like type of, you know, at least that mindset. Or a very cheap deal in this era. That's fucking awesome. I feel like that's great. I feel that's a good thing. I was just curious because I know that, of course, he takes up a roster spot, right? So now you're wondering, are you gonna waive Kem Birch? Which is another thing. Do y'all think we're gonna waive?
Please.
Yeah,
please. I'm begging them, please. And like nothing against Kem Birch. Like Kem Birch has been a solid pro for like the last 5 or 6 years, but his production has fallen off from media members who I've talked to who are familiar with the team. This is a guy who fell out of the rotation. Even when he was healthy, was not playing well. You know, he's like a traditional rim running big, but he's not finishing as well around the rim as he used to. He's not really switchable on the perimeter or anything like that. He protects the rim all right, but he commits a lot of fouls. Like if that's what you're getting for that much money and it's another 2 years, like again, nothing against him, but you can do better. And you have other things that are more interesting on your roster. Guys like Dom Barlow, guys like Charles Bassey. Even if you wanted to give Charles Bediako like a role.
Right,
like I just would be a little exactly. So like I would be way more interested in that than Kem Birch. And again, no offense to Kem Birch. I don't have anything against him. It's just what are we doing? If he's playing minutes, I don't get it.
To me, I think he was pretty much added to the deal to match money, and then also you take his contract to get that first round pick, pretty much. And I'm fully expecting him to get waived at some point this offseason, or maybe they try to trade him. But I think by the time that training camp comes and the roster restriction comes, just kind of like how Al-Farouq Aminu got waived, I think that's going to be the exact same thing.
Biggest mistake of the Spurs career, really.
That's the thing, man. Is Kem Birch? And I hate to say this, man. Is Kem Birch the first player that there's been some bad. Like, look, there was the Bryn years and there was the Marco back-end years. You're like, oh my god, this is really bad. But I feel like Kem is just one of the first players, and it's not even. And that's the thing. He never saw the floor, so I can't even base it on that. But he feels like one of the first players, and I'm like, you know what, we just gotta get off this roster. Like, genuinely speaking, like I just want him off the roster, and not even because of anything that he's done, but he's also not necessarily somebody that you want to keep. And just also based on the fact that we have so many young players up and coming, I'm like, you know what, I don't care if they just kind of like just throw Kem to the dogs. And I feel so bad saying that, but I mean, it's just what the reality is, man. And here's the thing: if they're gonna sign these guys back, they already got Trey back. They already brought Julian back. He's going to get his full contract. Are they going to trade somebody? No, they're probably going to have to waive somebody. And it's going to be Kem. It's not going to be Doug or anybody like that. Which, by the way, I don't even know if that's possible. Can they waive Doug on a $14 million contract? Is that possible? I don't even know. If that's...
So yeah, he can. They can waive anyone they want, but it depends on how many years are left on their contract. Because like,
right.
They waived when they waived Josh Primo, that became a wave and stretch. That money got stretched out over multiple years.
Right. That's right.
So, and now he's just dead cap. Yeah.
But a guy like Doug McDermott, who is on his final year of a contract, they can waive him without any repercussions for the long term.
Yeah,
they're not doing it, but in that example, if you see someone as a expiring contract, that's a waive that won't affect long term money.
And by the way, I did see. I don't know if y'all saw this. Paul Garcia is the one that kind of shout out to Paul Garcia, Project Spurs. But is it Project Spurs? I'm sure it was. But
you're good. It's Project Spurs.
He mentioned the potential idea of if they needed to. By the way, now that we're getting to the deadline here, and that's another thing, we have money to spend.
It is Mr. Ass.
And I was of the idea that they were going to spend some money on their guys inside internally. KBD left. I thought some money would go there.
Pouring one out for him.
Exactly. That was my Kai. I loved him. Unfortunately, but I get it. He went to Phoenix. He probably got the same amount of money he would have got here, but he's gonna go play for a title contender, so I get it. But my thing is, are they going to spend this money on one guy, or are they looking to take back a contract? Because I mean, it's like we are. There's no way that I just don't see them spending this type of money. Like, you know what? Let's go give somebody $16 million a year, because that's essentially what they have left to spend, right? Or am I wrong? How much money do we have left right now? Is it about 15 to 60 or 14 to 60 million left?
Like 35 million.
Well, yeah, but I'm just thinking because they're gonna have to. Well, actually, you know what? Is it 30 in total, or because is that including the trade contract? Is that including?
So, I don't know yet, but it also depends on.
You know what? That's
it depends. So it depends on the order of how the Spurs actually physically sign these players. So like they can make a deal, but they don't need to sign Trey Jones right now. They can wait and sign some of these actual free agents first, and then once those contracts are officially on the book, then they can sign Trey Jones, who they own the bird rights to.
By the way,
and sign him over the cap.
I don't think a lot of people understood how big of a deal that was, because they allowed themselves this free space. It's kind of like, you know what, maybe we do want to kind of throw a little bit of an overpay at somebody, or whether so and so. I don't know if Nick had a like an idea of, or if you had an idea of who that might be, but it allows themselves some leeway to like kind of like, you know what, maybe we can throw somebody some money, a little bit extra money at somebody.
I was talking about that earlier, and I was talking about the same thing with the Rockets, where the Rockets have so much money that they were able to overpay Fred VanVleet. Now, should they have done that? No, but they were able to with that all that cap that they have. And the Spurs are, I would say, much smarter when it comes to front office signings, at least in the past few years, since Brian Wright has taken over. But I think that they're not going to make a dumb financial move. That if they do make an overpay, it's a calculated one that isn't just trigger happy.
I was just curious. I don't know if y'all had anybody in mind, or if y'all thought that was kind of a waste of the early, because that first wave comes in free agency that happens every year. I don't know if y'all thought it was a waste of the cap space. Do y'all have a different feeling? Do y'all feel about that?
I have one guy in mind, but it's not a guy who I think they absolutely need to sign, but as far as like kind of being strategic with their money and kind of putting their opponents and like competitors, rivals in like a tough spot. Signing Austin Reeves to like a big offer sheet, because the Lakers have already said like we're gonna match whatever happens. Well, if that's the case, then let's go ahead and test it out.
So,
if you sign him and they don't match,
how real they are about that.
Yeah, like if you sign him, it's not a big deal, and he could be a good asset for this team. But if they want to match, go ahead. Now they've spent a lot of money on Austin Reeves, so I'm fine with that. But if they don't do that, I won't be upset.
So before you jumped back into the call, we were actually talking about, at least I was talking about Austin Reeves with the chat. Is he worth throwing like 20-25 million a year at, even though he's only now going into his third season?
Yeah, I think it's a little tough, but I think you have to think of it long term, just like the cap is going to continue to expand. He's going to take up that much money, but just for reference, and I wrote some notes down actually. I didn't write them down with this in particular in mind, but there was a 17-game stretch where LeBron James was done. He was injured. The Lakers looked down bad. It looked like they weren't even going to be able to be in the playoffs. And then Austin Reeves showed out 17 games. He averaged 18, 5, and 6 for the Lakers on 50, 40, 88 shooting splits for 17 games. And the Lakers won 10 of those games. So I'm not saying, he's this, transcendent player who's going to be the best player on your team, but he helped a team that was out of the playoff picture stay afloat, get back in the playoff picture. And when LeBron James came back in, he was willing to slide back down to, more off-ball role, attacking closeouts, shooting spot-up threes, running in transition, and he was fine. And he still, took on some secondary ball handling responsibility. So, if that's a guy who they want to throw that kind of money at, I'm fine with it. It may be a little bit of an overpay, but I don't know. I'd love to get y'all's opinion on that because I may be a little bit biased towards Austin Reeves, having watched him play so much this season, but I like him. I think he would be worth it.
Nick, do you have anything? You haven't talked in a bit.
Oh yeah, I just got my shit pushed in Yu-Gi-Oh. Come
on, man.
I'm a massive. Listen,
you said, "Are you ready to duel?"
Come on.
So maybe it's because I'm white. I love Austin Reeves. I kissed him on the forehead.
Look, listen, man. All I'm gonna say is if anybody in here loves Hillbilly Kobe, I knew it was gonna be you. That's all I'm gonna say,
bro. You know what it was? I didn't care for him that much. Not that I disliked him at all. It was just nothing. I had no. And then some news pundit was like, he plays he's similar to a Manu type of guy. And I was like, And then everyone started shitting on him hard, and I was like, well, that doesn't seem fair. So I went and watched a bunch of games, and then a bunch of highlights and some nice clips of him, and then I watched the games he played in the playoffs. I was like, oh, this dude is fucking cold, dude. He is good. He's not going to be some all-star, but he is good. And I would love for him to be on the Spurs. I would absolutely love it. And I would love it also because you fucking know if we signed him and he started dropping 20, 25-point games, especially if he came off the bench, a bunch of Spurs fans that were talking shit would be like, oh, he's like our new Manu. It's like, oh, really? It's almost like someone said that earlier that he plays a similar role. What?
So my biggest concern at the moment is the lack of the very short resume that he has. And I'm really concerned about, can he be consistent of what he was doing in the playoffs? Can he consistently do that over a season? And I think that's a question.
I have a question for you, Ty.
Well, to ask. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. Does he have more 20-point playoff games than Victor Wembanyama? You seem pretty excited about Victor Wembanyama. Would you be apprehensive to give him money at this point? Then shut the fuck up. Listen, hey, argue with that. Argue with it seriously. Do it seriously.
Wait, what? Who's?
Victor Wembanyama is much more talented than Austin Reeves, even on paper.
What about the NBA though? Riddle me
Victor
this,
Wembanyama
Batman.
is still much more talented at the game of basketball.
There was a
little bit of hesitation.
Oh, dude, I heard your voice tremble, man. You're fucking...
I can't. Well, if you look at it, I moved him to the mic.
This just in, is Austin Reeves better than Wembanyama? Is that
this just in?
Goodness.
Yes, sir, Mr. Krabs.
You know what, man? You know what? I'm not gonna call out any names. I'm just there might be a little small contingent of Spurs fans that might say, you know what, because Austin's a proven player that he might be better than Victor Wembanyama. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Imagine.
I understand it. I get it though. I get it. I mean, Austin. I love Austin. I really do. I think he's a fantastic secondary playmaker. I think he the shooting off the dribble is awesome. I think there's some in between game there that's untapped. He showed it last year. There's a lot to love. It really is. He's honestly there really isn't any specific hole in his game. I think he's good at a lot of things. I don't know that he's great at anything, but he's good at a lot of stuff. I just don't know how much of playing alongside an elite talent or elite talents. And I know that's so lazy. That's so lazy and basic. But I feel like it does matter a little bit because the year before he shot like 30 some odd percent when he wasn't used much. He was on the second units and he shot like 30 some odd percent from like 3 and he shot like 40% from the floor. But here's the thing. What if Wembanyama is that guy? I mean, which we assuming that he is, but what if he is really that guy? So it wouldn't matter. So yeah, so why not? I'm not opposed to throwing Austin Reeves this contract or this massive amount of them. I just wouldn't. I just don't know if San Antonio is really looking in the arena of throwing 4 for 100. I don't know if that's what they want, and I don't know that that's what I would. If Austin was willing to go like the Fred VanVleet route where we throw him 2, and it's like I don't know 15 to 20 a year. Okay, I'm down. That would be fun. That'd be cool to see for 2 years, and then we re-up. That'd be cool because then we'd be able to get first dibs on him. I don't know that that's going to happen. I doubt it. I think he wants, of course, he's going to be his first big contract, and he wants to get that 4-year deal. So that's, let him do that. That's the only thing. That's my only worry. That's my only concern. But it's me nitpicking. I feel like it's us. I feel like it's me being kind of, about, something small. I can't. I really have no quarrels. It's just, are we really, do we really want to give that much money?
Can I drop some Austin Reeves knowledge on y'all real quick?
Go ahead.
Hey, Austin Reeves knowledge.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so I don't know how much y'all watched of him in college. I think most people probably remember him for like his last couple years at Oklahoma, but when he was at Wichita State, he was a shooter. Like he wasn't a guy who really had the ball in his hands that much. I don't off the top of my head, I don't have the numbers like in front of me, but y'all can fact check me later and kind of see how close I am to this. But I think he shot close to like 45% on 3 on about like 3 attempts per game during his time at Wichita State, where he was mostly just a spot-up shooter. So I feel like, as a guy who'll probably be mostly operating off ball and hopefully be benefiting from the gravity of Wembanyama and having some more wide open shots, like, he's not, Doug McDermott. He's, not, Duncan Robinson or any of the like premier, sharpshooters, but that's a guy who can knock down a shot if he's open. And if Wembanyama's getting you open just because people have to pay attention to him, I just think that kind of adds to the appeal of him. So I would be kind of down. Again, I'm like a little bit biased towards him, but I think he would not be the worst investment.
Quick question. What would you think if you had a starting lineup of the following? Austin Reeves at the point. Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, Victor, Zach.
Devin Vassell, and Victor, Zach.
And Austin.
How do you feel about Austin Reeves at the point guard position specifically as your lead ball handler?
Pretty based.
Yeah, I don't know. But as I think our friend, Eric Salinas likes to point out, I think he tries to make this argument, and I'm not shitting on Eric, by the way. I love Eric, but I think he likes to point out a lot of times that like, oh, it's kind of like by committee. Well, I guess if you want to do things by committee, you might be able
Austin,
to.
right, has some,
like,
yeah,
exactly.
I feel like you can do the committee thing. And again, to be fair to Austin Reeves, I don't think he can be your one, but if you're gonna do the committee thing, then yes, it's gonna be more so with Austin before Jeremy. And that's not to shit on Jeremy. It's just that Austin has more of that guard, lead guard ability before Jeremy does, and that's just the reality. That's just the reality situation. And that's
I think
fine.
there's too much positivity around Jeremy. Let's shit on him a little bit. No.
See, and that's what you know. What I feel like I just did that, but I
hold on. I want to give a quote from someone real quick.
Okay.
This talking about Jeremy. He's too nice to give him shit. That's someone who has physically met him and spent time with him. That's a direct quote from them.
Sounds good.
Can I give you a quote on Jeremy Sohan from me?
Go ahead.
Handsome, charming, talented. Reminds me a lot of someone I know. Someone that I see in the mirror every morning when I wake up.
Oh yeah.
So, if he meets that description, I can't be mad. So, he reminds me a lot of myself.
The best, I think I The best I think the best descriptor of Jeremy Sohan is he's a chaotic good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just think he's petty, man. I that's gonna be fun. I don't know. I feel like Draymond's a little can go overboard. I don't know that Jeremy will ever go overboard. I think he's just annoying. He's annoying, which is fun. I feel like guys can get over annoying. They can't get over some of the stuff that DG does.
He's ironically petty, though. It's not like he's actually serious about it.
He's found like a good spot on the scale between Draymond Green and
like Dylan Brooks. Yeah,
exactly. And he's like he's kind of perfected it. He's like teetering on the edge of being too much, but also it's just like perfect.
And to be fair, like it's like what Ty mentioned earlier that there, I'm not gonna go into detail about that, but Ty mentioned earlier that somebody came up to him and was like, "Hey, you know what? He's not that bad of a guy." And I understand. I can see that because I've been around guys like that. I've been around guys that are like kind of like they teeter on that, like, damn, these guys are kind of a little bit of an asshole, but they're really not. Like when you talk to them, you're like, oh, they're not assholes. They just how they are. They kind of fuck around a little bit. They screw around, and so you gotta let them be. So I feel like Jeremy's like that, but he does it more in the sense like in his profession in basketball, it kind of matters. Like it.
Oh shit, Victor Oladipo, go back to Oklahoma City.
Okay.
You got like I'm not gonna lie, I love you.
I thought he was going to San Antonio.
You got a little bit too excited for that because
I don't know. I like VO. I've always liked VO. Like and him and
like
Kevin
his prime.
I was kind of
VO.
I was kind of nervous.
Victor Oladipo in 2016 and 2K16 was like the cheat code for your long-term success in my franchise.
Bro, but think about what you just said. That's like 7 years ago. Like,
I don't care. VO holds a special spot in my heart.
Well, then, if the Spurs sign Blake Griffin, I'm going off.
But also, also it's a trade though. It's a trade though.
Right,
so
we're talking old. We're talking old players. Let's give me Jeff Green. The whole grid. The whole damn.
Poor VO.
Like on a serious note, I'm actually a little sad sometimes when I think about like we never really got Blake Griffin when he like had this intersection of like elite athleticism and then had like finally rounded out his game. Like that's kind of a sad thing. Yeah. Like we never got that. Like he there was a part of his career where he was an elite athlete and then there was a part of his career where he finally kind of figured out how to be like a really good basketball player and we never really got the intersection and I feel like we got robbed a little bit.
If Blake Griffin would have figured out that understanding of how to play and he had the elite athleticism, you're talking about at bare minimum a top 5 player in the league just because of how athletic he was, and then the fact that he could spread the floor and he was a better passer and shit like that. Like this was a legitimate like top 5 guy, and then honestly he could have probably been a top 5 guy in like most generations. I'm talking like 90s, 10s, 20s. Like that's how good Blake was as a whole player, but we never got it. And you know what the funny part is? It was like maybe 2 years removed from each other before he tore his knee. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. It sucks. It really does suck.
Brutal. And also, like,
love him, Flash. Sorry.
What did they say?
He responded to the Hoop Central tweet of Victor Oladipo getting traded to Oklahoma City. He said, in all caps, Ty Yeager dropped down to his knees at a Walmart somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it did sound like that. You were like, it was the same level of excitement. I can't even give you like an equal one. I don't think I've ever heard someone that excited. Like,
honestly,
you
was like, what the fuck?
You wanna know probably the most hype reaction I ever had in my life. That was for the like big like not any player, not like
what
it was
the
like
fuck are you saying?
Oh my god, I'm too tipsy. No, the most excited I got for the smallest thing ever was Drew getting re-signed to the Spurs.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, he earned that. He had earned that contract. He had like gone from nothing basically to like earning that. He got from yelled at Popovich for trying to contest that shot from Dirk in his like last game.
That shit was crazy.
I'll never forget that because like that is like and I love him for it, but that's like literally the epitome of try hard. Like that was at the point where they're like,
fucking
the ranch
imagine
down.
being
Put
the
the ranch
guy
down.
that blocked his final shot in like a blowout? Because I remember it was a blowout, right? It was like a bent
no, it
over
wasn't
blowout.
close. It wasn't close.
Could you fucking imagine being the like basically two-way contract player that blocks Dirk's last shot of his career, dude? Oh
That
my
would be
god,
just
I could not live
insane.
with that.
In
I
case
would
anybody
be outie.
cares, Indiana traded for just so
For
For
who?
who?
we topping.
Oh, they
Oh,
did.
really? All right.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's just a little side nugget.
Oh, we
tapping.
The next Amare Stoudemire.
It's not the Victor Oladipo news that Ty just gave us, but it's
Wait. So where is Obi Toppin going? Because I missed half of that.
Indiana.
Supposedly went to Indiana. Yeah.
Nice.
Yo.
Didn't he go? Fuck. Where did he go to school?
By the way,
to Dayton.
Ty, don't be a fucking moron. Delete that shit before you make it real. You're gonna make Spurs discourse really toxic.
Oh.
Is Austin Reeves better at basketball than Victor Wembanyama? Somehow we're talking about this and then tagged everyone with the clip. I'm like, come on, dude. No one's gonna watch the clip. It's gonna be really annoying.
Well, it's a link to the live stream. Okay. It's called clickbait.
I'm okay if people want to.
We're like, oh, these guys really think everything.
We're like basically people are gonna think we're those like kids around the sofa memes.
Austin Reeves better. Oh yeah, the little picture where they're talking with the hats on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's called social media marketing, where you just do something that sounds insane and people will just more likely click on it. I work in marketing. This is what I do.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I can't talk about
Oklahoma
what I
City
work
is
in.
acquiring a VO and draft compensation to absorb his contract.
Nice.
I got excited over that.
They got him for free, basically. Well, they're gonna flip him.
Yeah, they got that motherfucker for
like,
$3.99.
Victor Oladipo the best Victor in the league?
He might be the best Victor
I got it.
right now as it stands. So until we see the other guy on the floor, then yeah.
No cap. He might be.
All right,
we see this current moment.
All right, I gotta dip out in like 2 minutes, but I'm here to do anything y'all want until then. That sounded weird. But
hold on. All right.
Wait a minute.
I do have
everybody turn their cameras on. Everybody turn their cameras
back. Throw it back.
I do have a question from the chat for you, Noah, specifically before you head out, talking about the so for a report from Jake Fisher. I need to bring that report back up real quick. No, so he said, I'm being told that San Antonio is a team to monitor in the developing 3-team sign and trade talks that could bring Max Strus to Cleveland. The Cavaliers have been trying to find a trade for C.D. Osman this week, sources say. So I just want to get your thoughts on that intel and the possibility of C.D. Osman coming to San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm okay without having Cedi Osman on the team. Like again, not anything against Cedi Osman, but he's fine. Like he's a fine player, but I think the Spurs, at least as far as the wing position goes, you just sign Julian Champagnie, you've got Devin Vassell, you've got Malachi Branham, you've got Keldon Johnson, you've got Sidi Sissoko, you've got a lot of guys. I'm fine without him. Like again,
it's under the assumption that we get a first with it though.
Okay, if you get a first with it, then I'm fine. You take it and then you waive him. That's like,
okay.
And again, not to be mean, but like I don't have anything with. I have no feelings towards Cedi. Like a lot of players make me feel like some type of way. He makes me feel nothing. I don't feel anything.
That's cold.
Do you not feel anything from 37% from deep on 4 attempts a game?
No, I don't. I think
you
there's
don't
a lot
feel
of guys
anything
who
for
could do
45% from the field.
I think a lot of guys. That's like league average. That's literally like as average as you can get. No, I don't feel anything for average. I'm sorry.
What do you have against average people?
Nothing. And you know what? Actually, the only thing that I can think of when I think of Cedi Osman, I think of the SNL skit where they were like, "Sorry, LeBron," where they had like all those like role players.
Oh yeah.
And they had Pete Davidson playing Cedi Osman, and he was like, "I just picked up basketball, and I'm a slow learner." Like that's what I think of when I think of Cedi Osman. Like, no
You know
offense to
what,
Chetty.
man? I love Teddy too initially, but I the more I watched him, I was like, yeah, I understand why people are a little bit lower on him than I am.
He's fine.
I get it.
Like, he's not bad. He's fine.
Let me hit y'all with something. Chetty Osman is like one of those shows like Riverdale. It's like if you're bored and you hop on.
Oh, come on, man. Some people tell me it's good, so now you're telling me
it gets the job done. It's good enough. But I mean, you're not putting it on a top 50 list. you're not going home and it's Monday night and you're like, oh my fucking goodness. It's season 27 of Law & Order SVU premiering.
All right.
It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I guess shows like this have to exist because like they need to fill that middle ground of like Breaking Bad good and like The Idol bad.
Oh my god, that was bad. That was doo-doo.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like as long as you're fine with just surface level colors on the screen, you're good.
Oh my shit! All right, no, we'll let you go. We'll let you go back. Are you planning to?
He has to leave right now.
What?
Does he have to leave yet?
Yeah, I gotta head out. I'm about to head out. I think.
So, Noah, you gonna join us on any emergency stream in the future?
Yes, sir. You know I'll be here for future ones. But yeah, y'all. I didn't see the ones from earlier. I wish I would have. We were out, but yeah, no, I always have fun talking with you. I'm glad we got John out here. Glad we got Nick out here as well. So yeah, I'll be back next time. But y'all keep holding it down.
Where can they find you?
Hold it down. Oh, usual places. Twitter _Magara. I don't know why I'm saying this like it's like I'm out of time, but yeah, you can find me on Air Alamo. You can find me on my YouTube channel. All that good stuff. But
Freddie
yeah.
Benz over here with the countdown.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, I will catch y'all later.
Have a good night, Noah. All right.
That was funny.
So yeah, no. All right, welcome to the rest
now
of us.
Now that square is gone, Chetty Osman's the GOAT. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm kidding.
I thought I would bring up the question because I think it's a move nonetheless. Damn. All right. I'm going to have to clarify.
You're going to have to let people know that tweet was a joke.
That's what I'm doing in the reply right now.
Because they don't know who said it, and they're going to think you're a fucking idiot. They're just going to attribute it to you.
I put it in the reply. We're good.
Oh, no. I'm a marketing genius. Hurt. No, everyone thinks you're dumb now. You forgot to say who said it.
Don't make me go get a fifth beer, because I absolutely will.
That sounds like a you problem, brother.
From asking if Austin Reeves is better than Wemby to saying Chetty Osman is Riverdale. What else is this string going?
That's funny.
This is called I have had 4 beers in the span of 6 hours. And now I'm bringing on random people.
That is so crazy that gets you swiftied. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying it's swifty. I'm like still able to function as a podcast host, but
I disagree.
I'm gonna slur my words a little bit.
Dude, imagine slurring after 4 fucking Michelob Ultras, bro.
I started at like 4:30, so it's not like I've been like drinking 4 of these in the span of 6 hours.
I'm surprised John isn't laughing right now. That's one seasoned drinker.
Where is he?
My boy chilling.
Did he pass out on Discord?
Joe Nathan. John Cho.
No, it had a dip when Austin Rivers gets signed by the Austin Spurs.
That'd be awesome.
Noah in the Vulcan. It's Friday night. Do your thing, Ty. I'm having a good time. You're having a good time. We're all having a good time. All right, I can go get a 3rd beer. I'll go get the 5th beer if everyone wants it. I can't wait to start drinking Rainier instead of fucking Michelob Ultra. It's just not available down. It's just not available down here. Rainier tastes so. Like I had Rainier for the first time when I went back in April to Seattle. Man, that was a good beer. I enjoyed it. Like Michelob Ultra, I can handle. I can enjoy in terms of like taste.
Yeah.
But Rainier, I truly enjoyed that taste. I was enjoying it. We bought a 12-pack and we finished it in like 3 days. In terms of like 3 half nights of doing shit.
Huh. Well.
Whenever you come to visit me in Seattle, you will have to try it.
Yeah, or I could just try it whenever I fly up for something that I can't talk about.
You go to Portland. Or Eugene.
Yeah, or Eugene, yeah. Whenever I go up there, maybe I can try it.
I forgot, is Eugene south or north of Portland?
It's south. It's not very far south.
It's not that far. I'm assuming that it's probably 3.5, 4 hours from Seattle then.
Oh, from Seattle. I would say not from Portland, no.
Not from Portland, but so Portland's about a 3-hour drive. It's kind of like the equivalent of like Dallas to Austin.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming Eugene is kind of like Dallas to San Antonio.
I think so. I think I mapped it once. I don't think it was. It just wasn't very far.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build this fucking deck without.
He's still playing Yu-Gi-Oh while on stream.
Yeah, because I know how to multitask, brother.
Well, I'm technically multitasking with beer and actually trying to host something. Don't know how well I'm doing this. I just know I look fucking good right now, if I'm being honest. We're in the slow times of the night. This like nothing's gonna really happen, and then suddenly something's gonna happen at fucking 2 a.m. for God knows who knows fucking why. Chat, how are you guys doing tonight? Why are you still here? Now Tim Reynolds is now tweeting on so hey Atani. He hit a really fucking crazy dinger. Like
really?
I'm trying to find. I saw how far it went earlier. I'm trying to find that tweet real quick. It's like one of the longest of his career, in fact.
That sounds kind of lit.
493-foot home run.
Mother of God. I would call that a semi-long home run.
There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani gets the Angels on the board with his 30th home run. An absolute rocket.
Best number 17 in sports, baby.
I don't know any other 17.
Doug McDermott.
I thought we were talking about people who played sports, not people who suit up and go out there and do nothing. I'm kidding. I like Doug.
All right, best athletes who wore number 17. Shohei Ohtani, John Halfovic, Devontae Adams, Chris Mullin, Keith Hernandez.
Sorry. What happened?
Oh, now you're back. Phillip Rivers. We're talking about who's worn the best number 17 players. I don't know why Terry McLaurin is on this, but okay. Todd Helton.
McLaurin.
Doug Williams. Jari Kurri of the NHL. Doc Ellis. Don Meredith. Scott Rowland.
Felipe. 17 doesn't have a lot of full.
Rick Fox. Who can forget Rick Fox? Who can forget Shin-Soo Choo?
I can.
Shin-Soo Choo. I remember him. Mark Grace. Lance Berkman. I grew up with Lance Berkman. Ryan Tannehill. DJ Chark. Devin Funchess. Dennis Schroeder. Kelly Gruber. Brent Barry. See? Best seven. There's a good 17.
Barry. Hell yeah.
Jason Garrett apparently wore 17 whenever he was active as a player. Mario Ellie. Kevin Bass. John Barry. I'm kind of just going through names. Jason Campbell. Anderson Varejao. How can you forget Anderson Varejao?
Well, who said I did?
Did you forget Anderson Varejao?
No.
Okay. Good to know.
I'm kidding.
You don't know who Anderson Varejao is?
Oh, I'm fucking kidding. It's so easy to mess with you right now.
I know. Apparently Ken Griffey Jr. wore it at number 17 at one point, as well as I forgot Sammy Sosa did wear. Sammy Sosa wore 17. I need to know where Ken Griffey wore 17. I'm kind of curious now. Oh, he wore it with the White Sox. Because he wore 24 with the Mariners. 30 with the Reds, as well as 3. Multitask legends tonight. Did 17? I did wear 17 in high school and college. See, if I played like a sport that had a number, it would have been 17. Philip Rivers was 1-2. Broncos. Brent Barry has anyone wore 99. John, I'm kind of curious of the Spurs. Let's actually look at Spurs jerseys.
But he wore 17 like that in San Antonio.
I would love 17 is my favorite number because I was born on May 17th. And then my second favorite number is 71 because it's 17 just replaced. Josh, don't you fucking challenge me right now. He wants me to say Victor's last name. You That's asshole. Josh, I hate you right now. I really hate you right now.
You don't have to say it.
Oh, I'll say it at some point. I'm going to have to say it at some point. Jonathan Simmons wore 17 too.
Who?
He did.
Oh my God. Jonathan Simmons.
Yeah, who's that?
Oh my God. You gave me PTSD when you said Jason Garrett. My night is ruined. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that to you. I had to give a apology for showing Kendrick Perkins on the stream. That was my fault. I still apologize for that. I should have given a warning that you guys were going to have to be exposed to what Kendrick Perkins had to say. I apologize for that. And now I apologize for mentioning Jason Garrett. I'm sorry. Apologies out. What can I do to make it up to you? The true sobriety test from now on needs to be spell Victor Wembanyama. I can still spell Victor Wembanyama. Did I say it right?
Nope.
Wembanyama.
God damn it! Say it or you're fired. Oh my God. All right. Well, I said it anyway. So there. No, Wembanyama. Fuck it. It's easy to spell. Close. It's easy to spell. You guys spelled in three, pretty much like 3 separate words. Wem, W-E-M. Ban, B-A-N, Yama, Y-A-M-A. That's like, I've remembered how to spell it real quick. And I usually kind of struggle with spelling. City, Sissoko. Did I say that right?
No, Soko.
I don't know about that one.
Soko. It's a Soko.
Sissoko? Or am I adding a random S sound that I should not be adding?
Sissoko.
Sissoko. That's what I said.
You said Sissoko or whatever whatever the hell you said. Whatever you said earlier.
I get it. God damn it. All right, someone asked if anyone's wore a 99 jersey. I'm trying to find this out.
See me.
San Antonio Spurs jersey numbers. So no 99 has been worn. There's only been 90 worn by Drew Gooden in 2009. That is the only player to wear anything in the 90s range. After that is 77 by Joffrey Laverne and DeMarre Carroll. Then after that's 55 by John Smith, Gene Moore, Albert King, Samaki Walker, Eric Williams, Reggie Williams, and Jordan Hall. And then there's just a handful of other 54, 53, 52, 50. Can anyone guess who, without Googling, who was the 50, who wore number 50 before David Robinson for the San Antonio Spurs? I will give you a hint. It was in the 80s.
I'm going to guess it's some cracker.
It might be.
Really?
I'm double checking.
Yo, that'd be so
Nope,
lit if
not
I
a
got
cracker.
that right.
Not a
What?
cracker.
That's such like a cracker number. What?
What the fuck? Keem Birch never officially wore a jersey, so it did not count. All right, I'm gonna give it a minute for everyone to give me your answers. You're not gonna get it. He only played with the Spurs for 1 season in his 5-year career. What are some really fucking weird ass numbers? This guy has worn, in his 5-year career, he wore 22, 45, 54, 50, and then 41. He averaged 1.2 points per game in 82 games, 1.7 rebounds, and 0.3 assists on 37% shooting in the 80s.
Sounds like a fucking bum.
He's been dead since 2002, though. Sorry.
So
Jeff Crompton.
needless to say, he can't play anymore.
Jeff Crompton, spelled Geoff.
Oh, that's how Jeff from Rooster Teeth spells his name.
It is. Ever since I found out how that's how Jeff Ramsey spells it that way, I never didn't see it.
We love some Jeff Ramsey in this establishment.
All right, number 17th in Spurs history, we have Mario Elie, Charlie Ward, Brent Barry, Jonathan Simmons, and Doug McDermott. Only 5 San Antonio Spurs. Oh well, it's not Skip Bayless. Who wore 50 before David? R.C. Buford. R.C. never played, did he? Am I crazy?
A real Spurs fan wouldn't ask that question.
Oh, shut up. He played college basketball at Oklahoma State and Texas A&M. And he received his degree from Friends University in Wichita, Kansas. He joined Spurs in 1988, but he spent 5 seasons with the University of Kansas as a member of the coaching staff, and was a part of the coaching staff when the Jayhawks won the 1988 NCAA championship.
Hell yeah.
So he did play in college and then was a successful coach before he joined as an assistant coach for Larry Brown's staff. If you didn't know your R.C. Buford history, now you know. We educate here at the line, even if we are 4 beers in. His son Chase did play for the Jayhawks as well, and I forgot, is Chase Buford still in the NBL in Australia, or did he go elsewhere? That's my real question. Because I know that he was in the NBL for a good bit. I'm not sure what he's doing now. Okay, actually on May 16th of this year, he parted way with the Kings, with the Sydney Kings of the NBL. So, curious to see where he goes. He's a free agent at the moment. It is now July 1st in NBA time. That means there's a new CBA, there's a second apron, and it's all official. So we'll see what goes on there. Just while I guess about it. Oh, wait, hold on. We didn't look at RC's jersey number, I guess. Well, I don't have that. I don't have that. All right, I don't have that information. That's a good question. Can someone ask RC Buford what his jersey number was while he was in college? That'd be a great question to just randomly ask him out of nowhere. I'm looking at you, Josh. Because I've not had media availability with him yet. Hell, I've not had media availability with Pop either. Matt Nielsen, very nice guy. Trey Jones, very nice guy with media availability. How's Yukio going? Did everyone just ditch me? Everyone just fucking ditched me. What the fuck? What did I do? What did I do? Huh? What did I do? Alright, we're just gonna go with easy. Chat, do you have any questions? Let's go. Well, yeah, I know. 1.9 points per game. Simple questions in chat history. Don't want. Cat, where are you? Oh my God, I'm just going back in chat right now, and I'm disappointed with myself. What made City fall to the draft? City, that question about City would be a better question for Noah, and I would say come back to a future stream, because again, we're going to be doing more of these. Save that question and come back with it once we have Noah in the chat. I think Noah will be a better explainer of why City actually fell. So again, save that question for later, bookmark it, whatever you need to do. But we come back with it when Noah's in chat, and I will make sure that it gets answered. And Ben Simmons, I'm not touching that. If I'm the San Antonio, I'm not touching Ben Simmons. You already have some stuff to deal with in terms of making sure that you build well around Wemby. And I'm just not adding that wrinkle into the culture. Also, I prefer to have someone that has floor stretchability. And we all know that he has no game outside of that. And even his defense kind of dropped. Now, that could have been due to an injury, but at this moment, I am not taking the risk with Ben Simmons if I'm the Spurs front office. I'm just not doing that. Man, everyone's tweeting this 493-foot bomb from Otani. Oh, hi, Marble. What's up, buddy? Any more questions from the chat? We're now 11. I know you asked. I saw you ask that, but we kept getting distracted with the different conversations. But but in the next stream that we have Noah, please bring it back, and I will make sure it gets answered. Ty Talk Sports. If the Spurs could get their names into the lottery for Dame, do you think they should, and how much are you willing to give up? I think in terms of the. I'm looking specifically at the timetable of how the ages are with its team. I don't think Dame fits. As much as I would love that, I will go pull out my Dame jersey out of that closet. As much as I would like to see that, I just don't think that's in the cards, and I don't think that's what Brian Wright is looking to do. If they were to do it, it's going to be a lot of draft capital. But you might have to sacrifice a guy like Keldon, like Devin. And I don't think that's what the Spurs are looking to do. So I just don't think it's a viable option. And as much as I would love Bobby Marks to be like, here's a wild card, I personally don't see it, and I can't see it happening. So that's just at least my opinion on this one. Marble, what are we doing, buddy? My cat's just he's begging for pets right now. So I'm just giving it to him. As these are to ditch me. What did I do, guys? Huh? What did I do? Huh?
Sorry, I'm on FaceTime.
Oh, now you're back. What are you FaceTiming for?
My sister.
Oh, it is 11 p.m. Why are you FaceTiming your sister at 11 p.m.?
She just moved into a new house in Austin.
Oh, fun.
Go back.
I'm just penning Marble and answering more chat questions. Dame wouldn't be wholehearted with us. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I just think in terms of situation, contract, stuff like that, I just don't think Dame is properly in the cards for that. All right. Which option? Yeah, I know there's not that many options at point guard. And I think that's something that the Spurs will have to deal with if that comes to fruition, of terms of there's not really that talented point guards. I guess we'll just stick with the system that we have, find a guy undrafted, or go find someone cheap to be the backup to Trey. Probably not most ideal, but Trey Jones as a starting point guard, I don't think it's not end of the world or anything like that. Ty Talk Sports talking about if you talk about losing KJ, just KJ and some draft capital to get Dame. Yeah, I would do that, but I think it would be way more than just Keldon Johnson. And probably a little too many picks. Shit. Oh. I think Austin Reeves would actually kind of fit the culture in terms of the Spurs are familiar with him. They actually had they did have a workout with him during his draft. And I think there's some other point guards out there that would fit and everything. It's not more guys fit better cultures than you would think. So, we are now hitting our what is this? We're probably pretty much nearly at hour 7. I think it's time for me to wrap up. My voice, I'm already feeling it. It's getting raspy. The cat is getting needy for pets. It won't leave me alone. So, Nick, are you still there? Or are you still on your FaceTime?
I'm on FaceTime, man. 1 second.
All right. Do you want to wrap it up real quick?
Yeah, we can go ahead real quick.
All right. How can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at NICYARBRO. And that's about it.
And you going to join us for any emergency streams?
Yeah, if I can.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Then have... we've had Mr. Ass, if you guys all know on Twitter, or Joncho. Make sure to follow him at Joncho Villa on Twitter. You can see it right up here as well. You can follow me.
Joncho Villa?
Shut up. I'm not doing this. You can follow me on Twitter at the Ty Yeager. Make sure to follow at the line pod, and make sure to like, subscribe, whatever you guys do on Twitch, YouTube, whatever you do it. And turn on notifications. We don't release videos that often, so when we are starting a live stream, that's kind of a big deal. So, but make sure to subscribe, and again, keep an eye out. We're going to be doing emergency streams anytime the Spurs kind of do something, and if I'm available, and we'll even probably do a emergency Twitter space. So make sure to follow us on Twitter. But for everyone that has come on tonight, I am so honored to, and I'm so glad to get you guys started with free agency. Thank you so much for joining us here on At the Line, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.